Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. I have the Stevie Nicks Phonogenics family here tonight. It's grown a little bit, but it's quality and quantity tonight. Alicia, thanks for joining my Patreon. If anyone wants to join, it gives me motivation to keep it going because I get damn lazy sometimes. So tonight we're going to talk about Stevie Nicks' fifth solo album, sixth if you count Time Space, her compilation, but this was actually the fifth album. Street Angel. I'm going to say something that's kind of not politically correct with everybody. So as I was preparing for the Street Angel discussion, this is terrible. I went and ordered some chicken fingers. I'm like, do I want 5 or 7? I'm like, it's Street Angel. I'm ordering the 7. It's a period of excess. Stevie had to deal with a lot of body shaming at the time, and I had a very personal connection with this album. So before we dive into all that, I'm going to go around the panel and everyone just introduce themselves and say a little bit about this album or whatever you want. Jim. Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Jim.
I feel like I'm watching the Red Rocks video because we see there he is.
This is deep.
Yeah, this is serious.
Okay. Okay. First Stevie album I bought, and not on vinyl. The new technology.
Oh yeah.
And available on vinyl. I kind of looked like on eBay's and whatnot. I don't think there's a chance of getting a vinyl copy. It never was made, I guess. So
that's a record store day event waiting to happen.
Yeah, I'm an old guy that love that big old, the big old vinyl album. That's the thing, and it's come back. Especially with young people, they love that old vinyl. The feel, it's tangible. And,
that's why I liked when that Stand Back compilation came out at Walmart. Because Blue Denim was on vinyl for the first time. So I'm like, ooh, I gotta have Blue Denim on vinyl.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. I've been thinking about getting that, but, just haven't come to do it. And she didn't do a video for this. Love or Change Your Mind was the lead single.
Right.
And I was sort of expecting a video because it lent itself to be a good video, a bright video, that sort of thing with a storyline and all that. And it wasn't there. It kind of was like, God, no vinyl, no video, bummer, but the music on it's more tuned to what I personally like, more the regular rock and roll, pop rock stuff,
So no Sister Honey for you?
Well, I like, yeah. I like Sister Honey, and in some ways, and she's taking this and shooting, things and trying to. This was going against, this is basically going against trend of what was coming out, on the airwaves, and it's kind of been, Stevie sort of say, well, I'm not going to go trend. I'm just going to be myself and go on and just do some music, and I think she's. I looked at a lot of interviews and stuff, and think she's very. Now, the promotion of this was post Klonopin, more or less all the promotion, the radio interviews and stuff. And she was very frank and very, pretty funny. And with it, the tour was great. I mean, I looked a lot of footage of tours, and this is some of her probably best in her career. Really,
yeah. I have a House of Blues bootleg CD.
I listened to that the last couple of days. That is, she sounds. There's a little different. I don't know how they recorded a little different or something. Her tone's a little bit different.
Yeah,
it's like it's too sharp or something. But it's. I mean, she's doing. I mean, very good.
All right. Let's move on to, let's do Steve and Steven to keep it easy. Does that work?
Sure. What are we doing here? Introductions?
Yeah.
Just a longtime fan, and I like Street Angel. That's a rare thing in our fandom.
Yeah.
I think it was tapping into what was going on in country at the time.
Yeah.
Because there was a new wave of country music coming through, and there was also grunge on the other side, so they kind of simplified the music a little bit and returned to our roots. We'll get into it.
Cool. All right, Steve.
Y'all are freezing up. Am I freezing up on you?
No, you're good.
Okay. I've been a fan for a long, long time. I do have a good Street Angel story. I may have told this last time, but it's interesting. I graduated from UNC in 1990, and my first job out of school was working as a copier salesman. It was awful. But then I lived with this rich family in this little guest house, and I would call Stevie's label, Modern Records, and asked, when's the new album coming? It was after the Clinton thing. So I knew she was working on it. And I made friends with the girl on the phone, Tiffany Fussell. That was the secretary of Modern Records. And she'd say, it's coming out in 4 months. So I'd leave her alone. And then in 2 months, I'd call and say, no press, no single at the radio. What's going on? And then we ended up sort of becoming friends. Then she gave me her home phone number. Then we started talking about our personal lives. And then and this is when Stevie was in rehab for but she wasn't releasing that. And so it's spring of 94 and we're like buddies now. And she's like, I've talked to Paul, who's Paul Fishkin, who's the record label president. And he doesn't like to hire fans because they're weird. But I told him that you were normal and you can come live with me and my roommate and work for Modern Records for 6 months, sort of check out LA and see what you think. So I quit my job. I packed my bag and I got on a plane and flew to LA from Virginia, not knowing who I was going to meet. This girl picked me up at the airport, and I lived with her and her roommate for about 6 months, and got to work sort of with them on the release of Street Angel. And it was really fun and really sad because that was definitely Stevie's bottom of the barrel time in her career. Grunge was big, and she did shoot a video for Blue Denim, a fake live video, but because of her weight, she didn't want to shoot a video, and I don't blame her. It's a double-edged sword. If you're a woman and you're hot and that helps you sell records, that's great, but you better stay hot.
Yeah.
Because if people are used to you being 5'1", 105 and you're 5'1", 175 and you're 46 years old, it was sad because Tuesdays was called ad day at radio. And so we'd wait by the fax machine. And when the big markets would let you know if you're getting a gold ad or a platinum ad for maybe a level change your mind. And every week that it went from like all this high hope. Like in April of 94 was like, oh, this is going to be, Bonnie Raitt was big and they were all excited.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't, she's poo-pooed it now, but at pre-release, they were very optimistic and it was very high energy in April. And by early July, it was like, yeah, this isn't going to work.
Oh no.
And it was really sad to see her as a product, but she is a product. She's a product of Atlantic Records, and they wanted to sell records, and it was eye-opening. And they call me Opie for.
Oh, I think you're frozen now.
He broke up.
Big hick. But it was a great experience. It's just sad that I got to do that at the bottom of her career. That was just such a bad time.
One more.
All right, Ronnie.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your fandom with Stevie Nicks.
Well, I guess I became a fan between 83 and 85, and I had no idea that she was in a band called Fleetwood Mac. I was 5th grade, 85. And then I saw something on MTV that said, and she's just doing this. And I'm like, wait a minute, that looks like Steve. What? So I was just mind blown. I was just like, what? She's in a band? And I investigated, Fleetwood Mac after Big Love or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, wow, okay, this is awesome. And of course, I fell in love with her, of course, and then Fleetwood Mac after that. And then I went back through the catalog, and here I am today. It's ironic that, I missed out on all the other calls, but that's okay with me because Street Angel was the first solo concert that I saw of Stevie.
Wow.
And I think it's very appropriate that I come in now.
Well, welcome.
But I've been a fan for her for many, many years.
All right, we have Curtis here from Ireland. Late at night, he stayed awake to talk to us a little bit.
Yeah, so I have been a fan, not just a fan, a mega fan of Stevie for the last 2 years. I'm in my 4th year of university, and I moved into my 2nd year into a house with 4 other friends, and they were massive Fleetwood Mac fans. And I didn't really know a lot about music in general at that point in my life. I kind of grew up very sheltered from like a lot of different cultural things. But they were constantly playing Fleetwood Mac if we were going on a night out or anything like that. So I started to really enjoy the music. And Sarah was one song in particular which really, really hit me. But interestingly, 2 songs that sort of made me think, like stop and think, who is this woman? Like, I really like how she sings, were When I See You Again and Welcome to the Room, Sarah, of Tango in the Night. I don't know why, but those 2 songs in particular really grasped me. And then Rooms on Fire, I stumbled upon it on Spotify, and my friend and I would get into my car in the morning when we were driving to university, and without question, that would just be the song we would listen to there and back, and we would sing it to the top of our lungs. So then, but I remember vividly, I was sitting in university one day in the library studying, and I was just flicking through my Spotify, and I was on my Discover Weekly playlist, and I stumbled upon Oh My Love and Alice. And from that moment, I was just really, really engrossed in her career, and her solo career in particular. And I sort of, that's why whenever I seen The Other Side of the Mirror, Phonogenics, a few weeks ago, I was so upset. I was like, oh, I would have loved to talk about that album because that is my favorite album.
Oh, wow.
But this year, the summer past there, I got a big record player and I started gathering some Stevie Nicks vinyl memorabilia, and it also plays CD. So then I got a copy of Street Angel, and that's actually the first time I listened to it through and through. And I actually think it's a completely underappreciated album. I really enjoy it. And I'm glad to be here to talk about it tonight. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, Roland.
Awesome.
You've been with us for a few episodes. How are you doing tonight?
Good. So I'm Roland from Canada. I've been a longtime fan. And I remember picking up Street Angel when it came out in 94. And my impression was that I was really underwhelmed by it. It's not my favorite album still. I just thought that the songs weren't that great, and the artwork, I mean, it just was underwhelming too.
That back cover where she's like,
yeah, the backside, and you know why? Because you should not hire relatives to do your artwork for your CDs and stuff. Yeah. But I have to say, the plus side is that her voice was a lot better. She wasn't doing strange things with her voice like she did during Rock a Little. Her voice is completely different. In the tour, I've seen some clips here and there. It was really improved. And I actually had tickets to go see the tour in Saratoga Springs, New York, but it was canceled a couple of hours before because of the weather. There was a storm there, so they canceled it just hours before. It's just an unfortunate time for her because, the culture was changing. She was getting old, and this is the time of Alanis Morissette, Lisa Loeb, and Lilith Fair, and all these like new lady singers coming up, and they're singing these angst songs and emo kind of like emotional stuff. And
right, girl,
I thought she's doing maybe Love Can Change Your Mind, and that's something like Belinda Carlisle would have done in the late '80s. I thought. So that was my impression of the album. But there are maybe 1 or 2 songs I do like.
I said we do love Belinda, though, don't we?
Yeah. So, I do love Belinda, yeah. But, that particular song as a single, it was just so out of the time of the culture. I found, you know.
Cool. And what's the two
songs?
songs?
There are two songs which I do like, and I'll talk about that later.
Okay. Cool. All right, we have two more people to introduce. With me since podcast number 1, my Stevie Nicks Phonogenics sidekick, Alicia.
Hey, how you doing?
Love you.
Good. So I actually like this record personally. I think the last couple songs, Kick It and Jane, could have been better, but I think what makes this one different is Stevie doesn't do all the smoke and mirrors sort of songs that people know her for. To me, this is like, she's pretty straightforward. And as some people were saying, she kind of went more with the country route in her music. The other thing that stuck out with me is, oh, no, I forgot. Anyways, I think it's a sad, unfortunate thing that this record wasn't as big as it could have been. But again, I think some of it had to do with promotion, some of it had to do with it wasn't quite. Did she ever release anything into the country radio? But
no.
She should have.
Yeah.
But I liked the fact that she started going back to all the guitars.
Right.
And the regular instruments. There isn't so much. And there's not all that synthesizer stuff. So since what? Belladonna or Wild Heart. So anyways, we'll dive into it more. But yeah.
Cool.
So that's my general.
Glad to have you. And last but never least, our friend from Portland, Oregon, Nathan.
Hey everybody. It's good to see you all again. Jeremy, that was my intro. I'm Nathan. I'm from Portland, and I think my favorite song on this album is the Maybe Love song. I call it Maybe Love because it's less of a mouthful. So it's good to be here. Good to see you guys again.
Cool. So the year was 1994. I worked at Arby's in Fredonia, New York. I graduated in 1993, and I was totally like the dyed black hair. I had the combat boots. I was totally, and back then it was harder to be a freak. Like now you can go to any mall and be, look weird. It took work back in the early 90s. So, I drove to Buffalo, which was an hour away, and got the hair dye, the Manic Panic. But I got kicked out of my house and I was living out of my car for a while. And so that was kind of the summer that Street Angel came out. And I remember the first time I heard the album, I thought it was really not that good. I felt like Stevie Nicks was so not cool anymore. It was before she kind of made her comeback and was looked at as like an elder legend. She hadn't gotten to that point yet. So she was kind of looked at as just heavy. Like they talked about her weight, that she was washed up. And the album almost, to me, the first time I heard it, felt like a parody of Stevie Nicks rather than Stevie Nicks. Like some of those girls, like the Lori and Sharon, their background vocals were mixed so high in the mix that almost like sometimes felt like a joke to me because it's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like it was like, but as the summer wore on and I was, living a life we won't talk about too much in Phonogenics, I was like, I fell in love with this album because I'm like, it's just Stevie still got me, baby. Like the rest of the world might have turned on her, but this Stevie Nicks album is all mine because no one else is grabbing it. So like, I really felt like at that time in the world, it was just me and Stevie Nicks, baby. Right. So that's what made the album to me. I put it on my little cassette and drove around in my little Dodge Aries. And I remember sitting in the Arby's parking lot after work and they played Maybe Love Will Change Your Mind on the radio. So I was like, for as uncool as Stevie Nicks was at the time, I was so happy to like hear the new Stevie song on the radio. There was one and only time I ever heard it. Maybe years later, like it went on to like a Spotify playlist. Them all. But one other thing is, when did the album come out? Like Steve, you said April?
June of 94.
June? Okay.
Around spring.
So I remember I went to a record store called Record Theater in Buffalo, like January 94, and the clerk, I was buying Belladonna and Wild Heart on CD. And the clerk's like, oh, you Stevie Nicks fans always make me laugh. Like he was so pretentious. But he's like, oh, she has a new album coming out called Street Angel. That's gonna be great. So that was the first I ever heard about Street Angel, was the bitchy cat steer at fucking Record Theater in Buffalo. So I wonder where he is now. We're still talking about Street Angel.
Yeah.
And who dropped a quarter in his slot anyway, you know? Who asked him?
So, we're still talking about Street Angel wherever he is now.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess let's get into the album. That's a little bit of my history. It was me and Stevie. My car at the time was a Dodge Aries called the Christine McVehicle. And just for a point of reference, no one's going to care about this, but the two things I listened to on cassette were, because I didn't have a CD player in my car yet, and that's before I got the Discman adapter. I just had a memory. You could save up Marlboro miles off cigarette boxes, and that's how I got my first Discman, was by saving enough Marlboro miles. And I didn't even smoke. I would climb into the ditches when I saw them. I'm like, I'm getting those miles. I need my Discman so I can listen to Street Angel in my car.
Right.
But I was listening to Street Angel, then Christine McVie had her first solo album in the 60s, Christine Perfect. So that was the other thing I was listening to at the time. All right. Well,
Jeremy, before we go on,
yeah,
are you going to discuss this cover art at some point at the end, or can we discuss it now? It's up to you, sir.
Okay, so I showed up at the record store and I saw this. The first thing I thought was and then when you turn the cover around, I was just like, I just felt like, do you guys, does anybody watch Friends here?
Are you coming home?
Yeah.
Because I felt like I had my Phoebe Buffay moment where I was like, oh no. So it just
or
seemed
Karen Walker. Yeah. Oh no, honey, what's that?
Belladonna was such an iconic cover. All of them were. And then I was just like, oh no. So what do you all think of the album cover?
Well, I'm sorry, Jim. Did you want to speak up? Go ahead.
Yeah. Underwhelming.
It's
just like, man.
Roland, I saw your hand up.
Cheap. Design by C.A. Nix, her brother.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have paid better picture. I mean, the cover is so cheap. The inside artwork is non-existent. Okay.
Oh, that's kind of
this picture's a lot better.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Roland.
This one too.
Thank you. I had that program, but it was destroyed in a flood or whatever.
Oh no!
But I thought, she had, the cascading curls and where she's standing there, and she looked very slim.
Like this,
And I was just looking through videos, and they have those, they have her in those videos with those pictures, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. She actually was kind of slimish before the tour started, because she did some promos at radio stations, and the pictures I saw, she looked good. And she liked the record when it came out, and she was very happy, very exuberant about the album when she was doing promotions. I think that when she went on tour, got heavier, and got the bad reaction from the fans, from the press, that's when she didn't like the record as much. But she apparently liked the record. She was singing along with it during the Mark and Brian radio show. She loved it. She was in a very good mood about the record until afterwards, and now she doesn't like it because of the reaction.
Record sales.
Steven.
Yeah.
Did you guys get the promotional materials from Ginny Kimono before this?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
She kept saying how much weight Stevie lost and what good shape she was in, and hyped this album up like this is the best thing since Belladonna. Do you remember all that?
It's called the record business.
But they set it up a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Disappointment.
I would have been a shipper. It's the best thing. Not the artwork, but the best thing since Belladonna.
I think, am I one of the few here that actually likes the cover? I think there's something about, I don't know, the color of it. It sort of sets the vibe for the album. I don't really know how to explain it, but it has sort of a vibe that I think fits the track list. I don't know how to explain it any more than that. However, I do like this single photo.
Oh yeah.
No, that's
beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice.
I like that one, and I think maybe something along that line could have worked more. But I do actually sort of like this. I think it's okay. We can all sort of understand that it's compared to Belladonna or the Wild Heart, there is a bit of a difference there, but I think it's good.
I kind of think it's so bad it's good. Like that's how I feel about it's like so bad like that I love it. Because it's like she got out like her cheap computer, just did a little, you know, cut and paste, put that font on there. So the history of the album is she recorded a whole version of this album that she ended up not liking. That was the producer was Glenn. What was his name?
Johns.
Parrish.
Johns.
Okay. And he said no Waddy Wattel on the album.
Yeah.
And she was not happy with the album. She had an interview on a show called, wasn't it Off the Record? Where she just blasted the album and talked so badly about it not too long after the release. So you can go onto YouTube and hear that. And then she went to the studio, remixed it with Tom, it starts with a P.
Panunzio.
Yeah.
Panunzio.
Yep.
He with the Heartbreaker. That's what I read.
So Waddy ended up on the album. She put some more tambourine on there, and that's the album we have now. It was interesting because when the Enchanted box set came out a few years later, by mistake, they sent in the original mixes of the songs.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the hell is this? So that's a whole conversation we can have during this discussion is which version do we like better of some of the songs? So let's get into the album, Blue Denim. Who wants to start? Raise your hand.
Can I comment real quick on the album cover? My 2 cents from being out
of course.
There. I'm sorry. Canada. What's your name in Canada?
Roland.
Sorry, excuse me.
Roland.
It's funny. Those clothes she wears, you sort of think they might help camouflage. She looks better in person. That stuff, all those layers, I think she looks bigger. And she was not trimmer at the beginning. Yeah. She gained a bunch of weight through rehab and end of 93, early 94. And I think she just kind of faked her way through. I don't look as bad as I think I look. And that's why she didn't shoot a video for Maybe Love Will Change Your Mind. But she was so big, that's going to limit your album cover photography. I mean, I agree. It's not a great, but she's not going to show her real silhouette. It's going to be all kind of smoke and mirrors because she is so tiny. And she was really 175 at 5'1". And so that's going to limit your options on how you're going to shoot her. And that's ugly to say, but it is the record business, and she's a beautiful woman. And at that particular time, it was a challenge for her. And so I think that was why that maybe the album cover was lackluster.
That is Stevie, correct?
Steven?
No, that's Sarah Fleetwood.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, that doesn't even look like her.
Oh, those are background singers.
Yeah.
So that's Sarah. Okay.
Steven?
Thank you.
And it was interesting.
Since you were there at the time, did they...
Go ahead, Roland.
Oh, did they consider using older, better pictures of her for the cover since you were there? Was there a discussion about that? Would you know?
You know, it's funny. That thing you're showing right there, that was she sent out a postcard to fans that said, sorry for the delay of this album. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. That picture you're showing with her hair kind of pulled back in that black thing, she does look good. I don't know how they did that. And you're right. If they could make her look that good on that photo, why couldn't they shoot a video like that, like Paula Abdul used to do?
And the picture Curtis showed as well is nice. Curtis, that picture you showed?
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good picture.
Listen, they put Carney Wilson behind the piano in every Wilson Phillips video, so they should have put Stevie behind the piano, just like Carney.
But they could have done. I think just maybe she just didn't want to do it. She just felt so much pressure.
Yeah.
And,
it was really expensive. She said, "Why spend $500,000 a video and not recoup that?" And there was something. She said something really funny on one of these interviews where she said, "I'm going to be 75. And I'm going to have all these videos." And I can't rent out an apartment. You know, she's just being tongue in cheek, but it was funny. It was one of those interviews I listened to. So she kind of has a point. But boy, you know, something like that, even if it was cringy or what do you call it? Camp, it's still something that got, if it was a video, it'd still be out there.
Yeah.
Let me add one thing to that real quick. This is funny. You'll like this. Most of you are young. Do you remember Dweezil Zappa?
Yeah.
He was an MTV VJ for a little, like a fill-in VJ, and you know, Stevie's first round of getting overweight was during the Rock a Little tour, and I remember I saw this. They played it was China Cantner, Grace Slick's daughter, and Dweezil Zappa were the host, and I Can't Wait went off, and Dweezil Zappa said, "I gained weight." I gained,
oh no!
Gained weight. I mean, busted her.
This means just kidding.
They look the same age now.
Yeah.
Weasel and Stevie. So.
Just see that right before during the Clinton thing, he said if Stevie Nicks gains any more weight, we'll have to make her an honorary member of Heart.
Oh,
I heard that. Yeah.
And I talked to her about that, and she did find that kind of stuff out.
Yeah.
It hurt, so she was gonna not spend $500,000 to be made fun of.
Yeah.
It's really not fair the way women get treated in the media.
No,
let's notice Alicia's Street Angel poster down there, by the way.
I did too. It's nice.
I love it.
Thank
Alicia,
you.
we love your poster.
Okay.
So you put in the CD. This was the album where I went from a record to CD as well. I guess Time Space was the first thing I got on CD from Stevie, but this is the first like new album. I do love Blue Denim.
Yes.
I have the promo CD with the radio remix, and then I have the European CD that has 1,000 Days as the B-side. So what does everyone think of Blue Denim? Okay, Curtis.
Great song. I'll go.
Okay, cool. I'll go around the circle. I'll start with Alicia.
Okay. I like the song. It's a great rocker to kick off the album. With all the rock guitar, I like the line, which I'm sure all of us have got memorized at this point. I'm going away for a little while to remember how to feel. And if I find the answer, I'll come back and tell you. So,
okay.
I mean, it really kind of says, I think that really kicks off kind of
the era, this
record, what she's kind of going through and what she went through the previous 5 years.
Yeah.
So this is a good, I like the song. It's one of the few upbeat songs that, and I'm surprised she doesn't sing it in concert. And I have to say, with the album cover, it kind of looks like she tried to do the whole Street Angel thing with whites and everything. Right. Yes, I agree. The pictures that Roland and Curtis were showing, I would have preferred better, but it does work. It does look like she's trying to do that bohemian, live up to the character of Street Angel, what she thought.
I did find it strange from the first track on how she harmonizes with herself a lot more on this album than some other ones. And that starts right on Blue Denim, where she's harmonizing with herself. And there were some things on In Your Dreams, like years later, that I'm like, this reminds me of Street Angel. No one else felt that way, but I sure did. All right, Curtis, I saw your hand was up.
So I'm going to be a little bit controversial. I do like Blue Denim, but it wouldn't be my favorite track off the record, simply because, it was brought up earlier on about Blue Denim being on the Stand Back vinyl box set. Right. I have that, and I've played it on vinyl, and I actually think it sounds much better on that box set, because on the album, on the CD, for example, I think Blue Denim comes across quite loud. There's a lot of noise coming from the instrumentals. Sometimes I think it drowns Stevie's voice out. But I do really like the lyrics, and I really like the part in the song where it sort of quietens down and she says, and I remember the first time I saw you, and it starts going into the end of the song. I think that's a really good part of the song. But I do think it is a good opener. It just wouldn't be my favorite on the track.
Right. And someone did mention underwhelming. As much I love Blue Denim, but we're used to like an album opening with like Belladonna or Wild Heart, like these epic songs. Blue Denim certainly is no epic. It's good, in my opinion. All right. Who else wants to talk? Jim, I see your hand up.
Yeah. It's got really good guitars. Like I look in the liner notes, there's, like 4 guitars. What is it? Is Bernie in there? Yeah, Bernie Leadon's in there. Waddy, Andy Fairweather, Lowe. He's from Clapton, and Mike Campbell. Man, that's a bunch. They put them to use.
Was this a Campbell instrumental that she wrote music over?
What? Oh, it might. I think Mike would write a track, and Stevie throw words to it. That's kind of the story of a lot of her tracks. Is Mike? She would have, and one time she got in trouble for it, but that's a different story. Good one that was meant for Tom.
Excuse me.
Beaumont Tench is on this whole album. From to, you know, that really holds it together. You know, it's back to basic. On this track, it's back to basics, pop rock. It's probably at that time. It was. I mean, it was it a single. It was on Letterman and Leno, and those are good. Those were good, fun to watch. Those, you know, she was big, you know, but some people like big, you know.
This came out on cassette.
She rocked it on those. I'm sorry, Jeremy. She rocked it on those interviews, those talk shows.
And it doesn't hurt to have what's his name?
Paul Schaefer?
No, Taurus from Cleveland.
Vito?
Vito, yeah.
Oh,
Vito, great player. Damn. I was watching these clips. Vito kicks it, you know. So
I would just like to throw out, we all seem to circle back to her weight. I mean, to what extent is that her weight? And it's, you know, especially when we talk about, you know, rock a little, I mean, to what extent is that her just gaining copious amounts of weight? And to what extent is it her coming out of being a 25-year-old chick? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a certain amount of that can probably be attributed to coming into your woman's body or your grown person's body, right? Which I'm told, maybe I'm projecting, it could happen to you, though.
It's happening to me right now. I'm 46, and I certainly am in my street angel phase. But Nathan, you make a really good point.
Thank you. That's all.
We have to just let people not be supermodels when they're 46. I mean, there's so much pressure on females to be. Okay, Roland.
The song is interestingly about Lindsay too. She said that.
Right.
It's referred to like Lindsay. Yeah. I read that's just someone she saw.
Lindsay's blue eyes.
And had a relationship with. That's what I read, and it's all. And I've read somewhere where it might be Lindsay. So.
And those appearances she did on TV were great, despite, you know, her appearance. I mean, she wore the Belladonna blue cape. You know, that was nice to see. But I remember the fan reaction, and this was through fanzines back then in the mid '90s, and people were like, you know, oh my God, I couldn't believe what she looked like. You know, it's so strange. Because before this, her last TV appearance, I think, was on Arsenio Hall. She did stand back, and she looked slimmer. She actually has straight hair, which a lot of people were surprised because it was, you know, she always had the big hair for time space, but suddenly she had the straight hair, and then that was the previous performance before the Letterman and Jay Leno, whatever, for Blue Denim.
All right, so I have Ronnie, then Steven.
The only thing I want to comment on this song, I love it. It seems like a very love-hate relationship, angry introduction. And I love Beaumont. The vocal harmony, I have a bunch of question marks about it. So I think Jeremy kind of hit it earlier on that she was doing that more self vocal harmonization. Yeah,
because I don't even think the girls aren't even on this song, are they? I think it's just Stevie harmonizing with herself.
I guess they were just in the video with her.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say is I liked what Alicia said earlier. I don't remember exactly what that was, but that's been a minute ago. The lyrics. Oh, about the lyrics. You know, when she says, I'm going to go away for a long time and remember how to feel. If I come back to find you, I'll come back to get you. That's not the exact words. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing. I'll get back to you. She said it in a very angry vocal. I'm like, okay, what is this about? Okay, she's talking about Lindsay, obviously.
Right.
She's going to come back and haunt him. And
she did with Silver Springs about 2 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years later, but
or 3.
20 years prior.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense now. The other thing I liked about the lyrics was she says like a photograph so rare, like a painting. Is she referring back to Buckingham Nicks?
Good question.
Oh, I never thought of
Cover?
that.
I just thought of that earlier. Because I've re-listened to it, obviously.
My favorite line of the song was
Excuse
"Never to be, not you, not me," because that's a story of every man I've tried to date. Okay, Steve. Steve, you had your hand up.
Too quick. I think Blue Denim's solid across the board, but I wanted to get back to the comment about the weight. I'm a huge fan, fat, skinny, hip, cool, nerd, whatever.
Right.
I'm just saying, in the context we're talking about, her weight was in a marketing, selling capacity, not has
Of course
anything to do with her music. I'm just
body
saying,
shaming.
if you're selling Street Angel,
Well,
you've got a woman who is known for her appearance. She's vain. She wants to look good. I mean, she's talked about walking in rooms and seeing people go, ooh, and saying, I know I'm not her anymore. I'm sorry. I'm not that girl anymore. And she hated it. And I personally think part of what she hates about Street Angel was that whole shaming experience of like, I was this beautiful woman that was a joke. And I'm not a joke. And I was sick and I persevered and I got clean yet again. And I went out there and I tried to do my thing. And because I wasn't skinny, you all made fun of me. And that hurt.
It must have hurt. Yeah. Nathan, you had a rebuttal?
May I respond?
Yeah.
Moderator? I just want to say that I am neither super woke or all Me Too'd out or so protective that I can't hear anybody say anything physically detracting about, you know who. So it's none of those things. It's just it's just such an inevitability that it comes up. And Steve, you make a great point that when we're talking about it from a marketing perspective, it has to be an inevitability. It's important and it's crucial. So that's all. Speak on. Let's talk about weight and physicality. And I'm ready now. Now I'm ready.
You know what though? Why are you even talking?
I don't want to discourage anybody's personal anecdotes either about the marketing and the imagery of it from that standpoint.
Why are we talking about the weight when there's the crimped hair to talk about? Didn't she have her hair crimped on the tour? All right, Ronnie, you have your hand up?
Yes.
Or, I'm not even hung up about the weight. She went through what she went through. Let's talk about the lyrics and the music content. I'm more for that.
I think it's all part
much
of
more the lyrics.
All right, so we have Blue Denim. Track 2 on the album was Greta, which of course we had the song Garbo. So now we had Greta and Garbo. If you listen to the demo of Greta from Rock a Little, it was originally from Rock a Little, correct? It's very almost Kim. I feel like the demo's kind of Kim Carnes-ish. The album version, I don't know. The first time I heard this, I'm like, okay. But I've grown to love it because, she doesn't have an hour. She doesn't have 5 minutes. She's got to go.
Oh.
So do you have any thoughts on Greta?
What would Greta would say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder what Greta would say about this album. Because Greta is really Stevie, right?
Right.
Of course. Mabel Normand is really Stevie.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't have too much to say about the song.
I like the song.
Yeah, I'll throw something in.
You like it? Who did I interrupt? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I think Greta is within my top. I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
No, go ahead.
I think it's in my top 3 of the whole album. And I really wonder, one question that I have would be, I wonder what house or what view specifically she was looking at when she wrote about the movie Star View. Maybe it was, I don't know. I just wonder. I won't conjecture.
I think that might be, oh, sorry.
I was just say, isn't this another one where she just harmonizes with herself and there's no girls in this one?
Yeah.
Okay, Curtis, what were you going to say? Sorry to interrupt.
Well, oh no, you're okay. I think just talking about the movie star reference, during the Other Side of the Mirror, I remember watching an interview and she's talking about writing in her diaries and she says, yes, I really have that movie star view, something along those lines, but it doesn't mean I'm happy or something along that. So maybe is that a reference to the house that they recorded The Other Side of the Mirror in, because it was high up in the LA mountains. I think Greta's a really good song. I don't really know what it's about, but I think it's a fun, catchy, quirky kind of song, and I think it's got a really good beat the whole way through. And I sort of like how she's, you know, questioning what would Greta say and how she's got time to go. I think it's kind of fun.
I kind of like every song on this album the same, which is a lot. Like, I love them. I don't think they're her best songs, but I just have, like, there's a special place in my heart for all of Street Angel. Like, every single song except for Jane. But we'll get to that later. All right. Anybody else want to weigh in on Greta?
I think it's one of the better tracks. I like it. I like it.
Oh. I saw Jim, then Alicia.
Okay. It's very atmospheric, and I think it's pretty funky. You know, it's got it's, you know, it's funky, and I think it's really Stevie, or I think it is so. This song is so Stevie. It just, you know, when you look back at her catalog, and it's so much her, and I think she's used Greta as a platform to describe herself. You know, she's a big Garbo fan, and she kind of, you know, she followed these people and her life, and, you know, wonder what Greta would say with this hot mess I'm in, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, and I wrote down here, it's a lot of self-reflection. And I make a comment about this album. This is, I think, the first modern Stevie album when you look at going forward. It's, you know, a mature person that's seen a lot, and, you know, she's pretty jaded about love through this record. And she's getting jaded about, you know, having a relationship, and, you know, and a lot of these songs reflect that. And that's about it.
And she kind of stayed in that zone forever. Alicia, you had your hand up.
I did. I like this song. To me, this is a good song to sing along to, and I think
she's got her bags packed.
Rhinestone collections all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so to me the lyrics, and I think this starts. Blue Denim and Street Angel, I feel like, are kind of very much like her old, what she's known for, kind of the smoke and mirrors, gypsy. This one really starts, to me, it makes me feel like the country songs. It's straightforward. There's
more
she's
literal.
talking about herself, but it doesn't have all the like winged doves and I think that's what makes this record different. I know the first time I listened to this, it was like, just because it doesn't have that atmospheric that she's known for. But it's a fun song, and I had to look up and figure out who Greta was. And once you realize that, you realize she's kind of talking about herself through Greta. And for Curtis, Greta was a famous movie star. What, in the 30s, 40s, something like that? So, but
yeah, that makes sense when you say that now, because I know a Garbo from the Wild Heart, so I sort of can see what you mean now about, you know, her seeing her life maybe through Greta and how she hasn't got time and all that type of stuff. It's a good point.
So, but yeah, I like this. It's just that fun, funky mid-90s sort of pop tune that
kind of
now
breezy.
Nobody likes, but it's got that beat to it. So,
all right, Ronnie, I saw your hand up.
Well, I relate to everything that Jim said, that I appreciate his observation. It's very self-reflective. And of course, thank you, Alicia. I just now connected Greta to Garbo, obviously the same person. She gets a house in the mountains, but the packing the bags and she's on her way. It's kind of like a foreseen of Sweet Girl, or what's the other song where she packs her? Well, I guess it was the other song, Juliet.
Elvis had the limousine.
Right.
Yeah, the limousine as well. You know, packing my bags, out on the road. Juliet reflected that earlier. So I was just thinking forward, but yeah, it's reflective of all that. It's very self-reflective. That's all I really had to say about that. It's a funky song.
I went to this Burger King in the middle of nowhere because me and my friends decided we're going to move to Atlanta. So I remember a really sunny day driving back to Buffalo from this Burger King and listening to the song. And like, she's got her bags packed. I'm like, that's good. And I did. We moved. So this album was like part of such a big transitional time in my life.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts on Greta before we move on? All right. So the title.
May I?
Yeah, of course.
Moderate, thank you. Just is Curtis suggesting that the movie star view is not an action? Curtis, are you suggesting that movie star view refers to the other side, the view from that house that the other side of the mirror was done at? Or are you suggesting that it's not a view from any one physical location, but a movie star view instead refers to a broader concept of having achieved a certain social status, quality of life, the trappings of a rock star, et cetera, et cetera?
Right.
Which one is it?
I definitely think it's probably weighing more on your second point there, because I just remember in that interview, I think it was an interview for somewhere in England or a TV production in England, and it was about the other side of the mirror. And I remember it kind of does a cutscene to her writing in a journal, and she says herself like something along the lines of, "Yes, I have the movie star view."
Okay.
And that was in 1989. So she, you know, that sort of phrase was around for a few years before Street Angel.
And the song was originally demoed in 1984, wasn't it? So it definitely would have been an older one.
Okay.
All right. So the song Street Angel, I'm going to tell you guys a story. I used to eat at this restaurant called The Gardens. We had this waitress who was really slow. She kind of looked like Stevie 1994, so we always called her Street Angel. We're like, uh-oh, Street Angel's working. She was always our waitress back in Tampa. This is a weird song. David Crosby's on it. Did she write it with him, or did he just sing on it? Let me look.
I think he just sung on it.
He just sang on it. David Crosby shows up where you least expect him. He's on Street Angel. He's on Joni Mitchell's Turbulent Indigo album, I believe. And he had a child with Melissa Etheridge. So
yeah.
Who sadly is no longer with us. So that's a sad ending. But yeah, David Crosby, how the hell did he end up? The version of Street Angel that's on Enchanted, the original mix, is a little less jarring. Because this one starts with like and then goes into that drum beat, like the which I picture the waitress walking up to us to the table. I always had like the drum beat in my head.
Jeremy.
I think this is the weakest song on the album, but Jeremy disagrees.
I did not say this is a good song. I just said the waitress reminded me of Street Angel. She was a terrible server. Okay, Roland.
Slow is right. It's just two chords. Da, 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 da. That's a whole song. It's boring. I think it's her weakest title track. And she said in an interview, it's about, it's this big statement I'm making about the homeless in Los Angeles because I saw the riots from my limousine. And then, when you listen to the song, that doesn't come across. And I never understood the story of the song until she explained it, where the man in the song dates his homeless young woman, and the young woman fakes her death. So the man would walk away and go back to his life. I mean, I did not get that from the song, but that was a story.
I get it.
Story.
She definitely hit some new low notes in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Changes your mind.
The song puts me to sleep. I'm sorry, but it puts me to sleep.
Does anybody here like this song? Anyone?
I like this song, but I like the Enchanted version.
Okay, you like the Enchanted version without the Waddy Wachtel overdubs.
Do you hate this song, Jeremy? I thought you liked it.
I have a love-hate. I think it's terrible. I think it's so bad it's great.
No. Okay, that's a given.
Changes your mind. I had a friend that was homeless and that actually sadly passed away. And the song lyrically reminded me of a story. He was not a Charles Dickens character with a top hat nor a scarf.
That's my favorite lines.
Hello. Back to what Roland said. What did you say, Roland? I was paying attention.
I said that she explained the song, but I didn't get it because I found the lyrics obscure.
They're very, very obscure, and they're very dark and gothic. And with the interpretation, you said something about where it's really
Los Angeles homeless people.
It's very convoluted. Yes, sir. It's very convoluted what Stevie says in an interview, and I appreciate you because I know there's not a lot of interviews during this time, because she panned the whole CD eventually. And there's not a lot of content, but I appreciate your knowledge of finding certain aspects of that. This is a song that's really grown on me through the years. I hated it when I first heard it, but the notes I took, and I appreciate Jim because I know he takes notes too. Yeah. Of course, Crosby's on there, and
copious note takers.
Yeah, same here. So in the last stanza or verses, whatever, she sings, and I think she's singing a different person, the other person, which would be the homeless person.
Okay.
So I ended it all for the both of us. Yeah. I fell down the stairs, a broken rag doll, which suicidal tendencies or whatever. That's also connected kind of later in the album with Just Like a Woman, with the rag doll and the pearls and the pills, and I'm gonna end it all. In that case, she's talking about herself or the person who wrote the song, which was obviously Bob Dylan. I don't know where he was influenced by that, but it's very dark and it's very gothic, and the lyrical content is what I'm focusing on. I ended it all for the both of us. I fell down the stairs, a broken rag doll. So maybe that is the actual, I find that informative. Maybe that is the homeless person that killed himself. So the female or whoever it was that was taking him in and helping him out,
way around.
I just went away and you didn't know anything better. It's very dark. It's kind of like that. I kind of wish I had been there for the Jeremy, help me out. Still Missing You, Berlin.
Oh,
I wasn't there, but that's okay.
Doing the best I can.
It's very dark, but I can relate. I can figure out. I'm not a poet at all, but I find these lyrics fascinating.
I will say I've had some low mental health times in my life where I was not doing well, and I'm like, I'm the broken rag doll on the stairs.
Absolutely.
I remember coming home after a couple all night benders and feeling like a broken rag doll. So it's interesting. Like the song Street Angel has permeated my life. Love it or hate it.
I find hope in it. Alicia, do you have any content? Or you kind of like the song or no?
Well, I like this song because I've always liked goth sort of songs. That's what gravitated towards me to Stevie.
Absolutely.
I like the Janet one because it kind of builds. So to me, it feels like she's putting me back onto that like Charles Dickens street with the fog coming, and then she starts singing. To me, this is more the lyrics than it is the music. When I think of Street Angel with these lyrics, I feel like you've got, it's like the Batman or she's doing her super action figure person, Street Angel, who's going around the streets protecting the people, and this person isn't going to come in and be domesticated. This is somebody who's there to protect, to guide. And so that's what makes me always think with this sort of song. So when I heard, because I kind of went skimming through to try to see what she said about it, about the homeless, and it was like, okay, I can somewhat see with the broken rag doll, and but that was never what I could glean from it. But and I'm like, Ronnie, this song is cryptic enough that I couldn't see the homeless. She didn't write it that well if she was looking to help cure the homeless population problem in the U.S.
Correct.
So to me, this has probably some more to it. She must have seen something in her, seen herself somewhere in the homeless. That's where she is, what she was doing, being lonely.
Something beautiful I do think about this song is because I do work with the homeless population. That's my job. And there's a big misconception that nobody wants to be homeless. And actually some people that are homeless choose that life.
Yep.
Yes.
In the song, they're saying like, street angels aren't like anyone you know. They go where they want or whatever. And I think I like that the song addresses that misconception. Some people just want to live off the grid by choice, and it's not a negative thing necessarily. It doesn't have to be looked down on, and they don't have to be looked down on. So
I've never thought about it like that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think that this song, it's so slow to the point where you feel like, this is one of the reasons why I like it, is that you feel like you're walking with Stevie sort of as she's singing it. And here in Ireland, I've been in the States a few times, and I studied in Virginia last year, and I have seen groups of homeless people in the cities.
Mm-hmm.
And from watching shows like Orange is the New Black and things like that, where they depict the lives of some homeless people, it's always sometimes go, moving from one area to the next. And sort of this song's so slow that you can sort of picture, homeless people walking, and it's sort of, it's a bit of a depressing attitude and a very serious thing that maybe Stevie is trying to raise. But I didn't know that it was about homeless people, especially in LA. I didn't get that from when I listened to it.
I feel the song is kind of a dirge a little bit.
Yeah,
it is.
Not necessarily a bad thing. Jim, did you have your hand up?
Yes. The story was that Stevie was living like in a townhouse or something, and then some bees moved in, and she had to move. She went to like a hotel, was watching TV, and had a couple, I think it was maybe CNN or something. And there was a couple episodes on homeless people, and it was a seed for this song. It's very serious. It's a serious matter. This is probably one of our first socially conscious type song. She says it's not political. It's just describing what certain people, they're street people, and that's what they are, and they don't want to go and have responsibilities and have the complications of what other people go through, and that's what they are.
One line that I always thought was beautiful, because I have a buddy that was homeless, and he lived in San Francisco, and his sister drove all the way from Alabama to San Francisco because she's going to save him and get him off the street. And she drove all the way out there just to have him say, "This street is my home. Why are you trying to take me from my home?" So the line, I try to bring you in out of the cold, but street angels live on the street, and they always will. Shit. Okay, I love this song. I take back everything. I take back everything I said. I'm going to edit out my first few comments out of the podcast, because this shit's really hitting home.
Oh, that's not fair.
That's not fair. I'm going to put in my Red Rocks overdubs where I'm saying something different.
Nice close-up.
Yeah. I love
Go ahead, Steven. I like your opinion, but you don't speak a lot. I've seen your other podcasts. You don't speak a lot. Did you have an opinion? I'm sorry, sir, to interrupt you.
Who, me?
Yes, you, sir.
No, I'm just listening. There's a lot of us tonight, so I'm listening.
Okay, because the other one's named Amy, but
it's
Steven.
Yeah, you're Steven, I think.
All right, well,
Jeremy, so going through the whole list of all the outtakes and everything, what would Stevie had named this song, or excuse me, the album as a whole, if not Street Angel?
Unconditional Love. No?
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Love is like a river.
Yeah, Love is like a river. That could have worked.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get to the outtakes later, but
Destiny.
Yeah, I like it.
Talk about a dirge right there, right? Oh, we're not there yet. Okay.
Okay.
Any thoughts on Street Angel before we move on to the Laundromat?
I like the Laundromat.
All right, so we're leaving the streets of LA and we are going into the Laundromat, and maybe Sister is there.
It's in Minneapolis.
This close to Wash. The song was written by Trevor Horn, who was a producer, correct?
Betsy Cook wrote it with Trevor Horn.
Was Trevor Horn the gentleman who produced Grace Jones' Slave to the Rhythm, or is that a different Trevor? I have to look it up now.
Trevor Horn's associated with Yes. That's where you hear that name.
Okay.
Prog rock, stuff like that.
Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Yeah.
No, Trevor Horn did produce Grace Jones' Slave to the Rhythm.
Okay. Well.
So how the hell do we get from Slave to the Rhythm to Docklands? Curtis, your hand is up. You tell us. Tell us about the Laundromat.
Well, I think that it's probably my least favorite song on the album. And I think that 1,000 Days or Inspiration could have maybe squeezed into here. You know, I think it has a bit of a catchy chorus, but that's about it. I don't really like how the song starts. It's just even that like instrumental bit at the start, and then the melodies, like the O's coming into it. It's a bit
and they really come in, like they're really high in the mix, like woo-hoo, like, and Sarah Fleetwood joining, like she put a different sound to the mix of the backup singers. So
hey, Sarah's on here.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry to interrupt. I started thinking about the ooze, Curtis, and I had to jump in. Any other thoughts?
No, it is. They are harsh. Like, I mean,
this is one that's like is a parody almost.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I think the opening of the song isn't so great, but I do think the chorus sort of deserves some attention, because when it starts talking about people who roam the docklands and it starts going into that, it is catchy, and you know, you find yourself nodding your head to it and singing along. But apart from that, yeah, it's a bit of a like 1,000 Days. That I really don't know why that song wasn't on this album, or Inspiration.
I saw Roland's hands up. I do have to say one thing. I love the guitar lick in the chorus, because to me it's very Natalie Merchant, Tiger Lily. Even though they came out like a year later, that like I feel like that was like a lot of the sounds that Natalie used, which this totally separate topic, but I fucking love Natalie Merchant. And I will go
10,000 Maniacs.
Oh yeah, I'll be going through every one of her albums someday in the future. So join me, everybody.
I love the song Carnival.
Oh yes. Oh my God. Don't get me going on Natalie.
No. Yeah, I agree with Curtis. 1,000 Days would have been a better choice, and she wrote the song, so that's a plus there. I think she wanted to do Docklands because she thought it was Darklands. So she got attracted to that title, and I think in some of the demos, I don't know, she sang it as Darklands.
Oh my gosh!
But it's you know, she's been this song has been the butt of jokes in the Stevie community. I mean, Stevie makes going to the laundromat, really, you know, and not even the dry cleaner, you know.
Nathan, your hand is up.
But she likes the song. But she really does like the song, because when she toured for the Street Angel tour, she did it live.
That
she
part,
liked the song,
and it worked well.
No one else does. Not many people like the song.
I like the song.
Do it live when I saw it.
I don't like the song personally. I think she could have done something.
Oh no, I'm getting there. Yes.
She wrote.
Sorry, he froze.
Nathan.
I was going to let Roland complete his point there, but he's froze. I was just going to comment that I never realized how well it hangs with the Street Angel song, the title track, until now, right?
That part.
Docklands, people walking down, you know, the Street Angels or whatever. They really go together well. It didn't occur to me until now. And maybe the movie star view if it can be a physical place, and even I guess if it's not, if it's just a conceptual thing, to Curtis's point, I think that makes an interesting sort of counterpoint to the Dockland person, street angel person viewpoint that she takes in those two songs.
People moving to and fro, trying to make it happen.
Oh, when you're looking from way up there with your movie star view, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Count on it.
I like this song. Like I said, I like every song in this album. To me, they're all the same. They're awful but great. I love them all. Ronnie.
So Nathan just made a very good point. Well, the people are roaming the docklands. Well, there's homeless people on the shore as well.
Right.
That's why they're there, because it's warm for the most part, I think.
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
Everybody knows the hotel that she wrote it at, right?
Which
The
one was
Imperial
that?
Hotel?
Roland knows.
California.
Somewhere in California, but I'm not sure. What is it?
Are we talking straight in?
Roland knows. The Fair. What is it, Roland?
For what?
What is it? What hotel is it?
Where she wrote Street Angel.
Yeah.
Or Dockland. Well, she didn't write Dockland, so never mind.
Yeah.
Hotel Cortez.
I don't know. The Grand Hotel.
I want to go and sit where.
But
Stevie
actually,
Nicks wrote Street Angel.
I don't really think that Docklands refers to homeless people. The Docklands is actually a specific place in London. And because I think Betsy Cook or Trevor Horn are from England,
Yeah, they're from England.
Docklands is a specific place in London.
But why did she perform this live? The
Yeah,
whole
so-
freaking concert.
Because she thought it was Darklands.
Like, come on.
Maybe she thought it was
She thought it was
like
Darkland.
Darklands. So, they're wandering the dark.
That's interesting.
Her live version is actually pretty good. I like her live
It
version.
was good, Jeremy. It was. And I mean, I was there umpteen freaking million years ago. But yeah, she could have done so many other songs.
She needs to open
and
her next
She
tour
did
with
Docklands.
Yeah.
What's that, sir?
So she needs to open her next tour with Docklands.
Yeah, it would work.
Alicia,
Look
at
at
do you have your
Roland's
hand up?
face. I love it.
I like this song. It always made me, me being from the Southeast, it always made me think of the Docklands here in the southern part of the States. But somebody was saying that the two writers, which I never thought, because this kind of hangs with how Stevie was writing for this record.
Yeah, it does.
Rose Garden and whatnot. So it kind of blends. Them saying it's about London, well, that kind of fits with the whole Charles Dickens character with the top hat and scarf, which I thought is interesting. I like the Greta, Street Angel, and Docklands. For me, it always took me to like three different areas. The Greta with the Hollywood, Street Angel put me kind of in like a Charles Dickens sort of London, and then this always took me to the beach. When I think of the ships, I just always thought they were like in this sky, just the way that the lyrics are written, kind of very literal. But I like this. I
do love the "Give me a hand" at the end.
It was performed nicely.
They're giving my hand to the, but it's okay. I grew up listening to country music, so a lot of these songs they fit if you listen to country music. And I think the first time I heard this record, that was.
I beg of you.
Huh? But the first time I heard this record, it wasn't impressive for me. This is a slow burner of a record, but I think you have to get over the whole gypsy queen of rock and roll to really like this record.
Right? She said in interviews, this is the album where she stopped twirling.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe that's not a bad thing. Like, it's interesting to see what the world looks like when she's not spinning. It is too bad that they didn't push the Bonnie Raitt angle a little bit, because Bonnie Raitt was huge on the charts still in 2004 or 1994, wasn't she?
I think so.
Nick of Time came out in 89, I believe. And I think Luck of the Draw was 92, and then Longing in the Heart was out at this time, which was a huge hit. So I think there was room for an adult contemporary woman in her 40s to be on the charts.
Well, I know because I grew up with country music, you had Patti Loveless, you had Pam Tillis, and they were all kind of in their, I think, 30s, mid-30s, 40s at that time. You had Reba, who was definitely in the mid-late 30s. I mean, and all of those women.
Nobody's going to say nothing of the Judds.
The Judds. Ronnie, it's your hand.
Nathan, you're too young to remember the Judds. Alicia, I'm a gentleman. I'm not going to ask you your age, but yeah, Pam Tillis and Patti Loveless and that whole genre, the Judds, sir. And Reba, of course, but why wouldn't they have pushed her? Jeremy, what's your thoughts on this? Why wouldn't they have pushed, like Rose Garden or later on in her career on the country charts? Do you think that Stevie was just, no, absolutely not? Because I think she could have had a big career, at least with one song from each album.
I feel like in Stevie's mind, this was a rock album, and she didn't zoom out far enough to see it as anything but that.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, because I do think there was space for this on the country charts. And
and go ahead, sir.
I just think, I say that these songs are so bad they're good. I don't think they're bad. I think they're of a place in time. And I think these could have been on the charts. Jim, was your hand up?
Yeah. I actually listened to the Betsy Cook version, and Stevie really she didn't change. She changed like one or two, just a little bit of the lyrics, but she made it her own. But this doesn't fit her mythology or her reality. It's like born on the Docklands. She was born out in the desert, and that kind of bothered me a little bit because Stevie sings basically from the heart and the truth, pretty much all through. And this one just kind of made me, cringe a little. But I think she just heard it and said, well, I'm going to bring this in and just play with it. And it just, she liked it enough to be on the record. And she did put it on the tour for a while, which is really good. There's one in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you sent it to me. It was good.
Yeah, that's a great vocal. She's some real high stuff. And then she says, I beg of you, and has the girl work it, and she works it. She did a good live thing on it.
It might have just been fun to sing. Steven, I see your hand up.
You picked this out of the I'm going to sing this, and I'm going to play with it, and I'm going to have fun with it on the road for a little bit. And then I think she brought back some other side of the mirror stuff. I don't know how many. I didn't look and see how many shows she run. They actually did the Chain late in the. They did the Chain a few shows, and Stevie wrote most of or half the lyrics, so it's hers actually. So gripe about that, and it's good. That's a good version of the Chain. So,
all right, Steven?
Oh, I was going to say this album was completely finished. And then they went back and tore it all down and came back. Yeah. So there seems to be a big loss of musical identity going on in this album.
Right.
So maybe it was a lot more country and flavor. And then Stevie's like, no, I'm a rock singer. We got to rock this up and put a little more Stevie Nicks into it. But it was probably too late by that point. Right. And they just had to let the record go. Like, I wish Steve was around. Like, he could maybe give us some insight.
I know, we lost Steve.
Yeah.
Was his connection poor? I feel like his connection was coming in and out.
Light was poor.
Yeah. Ronnie.
I felt like I stole Alicia's time earlier and I cut her off short. I apologize. Did you have more to say?
No, not really. I just like this song. The first four songs, I just...
To the Rain.
I like singing along to them. I like this. It may not be her, but I like it.
I like it too. All right.
I like it. It was good live, Jeremy.
Yeah.
It was good, I admit. We had a few cocktails and it was good.
Any thoughts on Docklands before we listen to The Rain? All right. So the Docklands, she leaves the Docklands and you're a frontliner. You lay it all on the line. You're a
no.
Beauty and the Beast, yeah.
Yeah, no Beauty and the Beast here. She didn't say here anymore. She's like here. No Phantom.
This would have made a good song live.
Okay,
It probably would have. Yeah.
First of all, didn't she originally cut this for Time Space? There's a Time Space version, correct?
Listen to them.
I think
I
there's
believe the
also
song was
a wild
originally
card
cut for Time.
There's also a wild card version.
There's a
If I'm not mistaken, I think there is. Yeah.
really?
Mm-hmm.
I have to look that up. Okay, so how do y'all feel about Listen to the Rain? Take time, honey, and tell me how you feel about this song.
It's okay. It's okay. I think it sounds good live. Had she done it live, someone said it sounded like a Mick Fleetwood and a Zoo kind of song.
Yeah.
It just goes back to my thing of like almost being like a Stevie Nicks parody, like the way like there's no beauty in the beast here. It's almost like she's, I don't know.
Phantom of the Opera.
It's kind of campy to me. Like as a gay man, like it's very campy, and I'm like,
There.
sign me up, Curtis. I see your hand is up.
Yeah, this is actually my favorite song
Oh.
on the record. I really like how she sings on this song. I think a little bit of Rock a Little Stevie comes out on this song, especially on the last sort of, at this part of the song, whenever she's like, open up the window, there's a lot of rasp in that line when she says that, and it always hooks me, and I really like that. I think this is where the album, for me, don't get me wrong, the first 4 songs are good, but I think this is where the album starts to really pick up for me. This song, it's sort of just hit after hit after hit in my eyes on this album. But yeah, it's like what I said. I love the rasp in her voice in this song. I think it's a bit of Rock a Little. And I do like the opening, as aggressive as it is compared to, the 3 prior ones. I think I was actually listening to it tonight and I was really enjoying it.
I think I've probably like really rocked out in my car playing this song, and someone pulled up next to me and was totally making fun of me. Okay, Johnny, I see your hand is up.
Oh, me?
No.
I just want to say, Curtis, stay as long as you want. We want you here. We want your input. No, my hand wasn't up at this point, but it will be.
Nathan, I need to know what you think of this song.
I don't have any complaints with it at all, and I think that the third part of it is the best, but that's not unusual. And it's a nice sort of plot change with a nice tempo change compared to the earlier songs on the album. Yeah, you guys said it.
I like that vocal chord. When they sing Shine, that vocal chord that they do is great.
Oh, yeah. I love this damn song. Like, it's kind of like a little bit of a hot mess. So am I. But you know what? Open up the window, listen to the rain, take some time to smell the roses, and throw away the pain. I think that's where Stevie was at in her life.
I love the way she says them 4 lines. The open up the window line, as soon as she says that or sings that, I mean, like, I'm literally, like, every time that hits me so good. Like, I just love the way she sings that part. And then whenever she says, take some time to smell the roses, I'm like, oh, this is a really, really good part of the song. And I just really enjoy that part.
I remember reading a review back then saying that she sang more like John Bon Jovi than Stevie Nicks.
Oh, Lord.
And, take some time to smell the roses. Like, I guess I can hear it a little bit.
Great vocal.
And I love that. I love it too. Like, love it. Sign me up.
She was channeling Bon Jovi from Time Space. Obviously.
Sometimes it's still a bitch.
It was.
Sometimes it's roses. Sometimes it's roses.
Sometimes, yeah. Yes, it's the roses. Take some time to smell the roses. Yeah. All right. And we're the first podcast to connect Sometimes It's a Bitch with Listen to the Rain.
Correct. Jim, did you have any thoughts on this song? Do you like it, or what's going on?
I love it. It's very inspirational. It's got a good message about. I think I read a short statement on it from Stevie and says, I mean, you got to take time, even things are bad, and look at the good. And there's a little part where she says, well, she didn't know better, and the girls come in and they alternate the vocal. That is something I don't see in music much.
Right.
That's a very cool thing. It's one of my favorite parts of the song. And then at the end, she has a real earthy vocal on that, very earthy, down, just gritty. You know, has a lot of grit to it.
And the girls come in very loud in the mix once again.
Yeah.
Does anyone know who these co-writers are? It's Stevie Nicks, Monroe Jones, and Scott Crago. I've never heard those other two names in my life.
Scott Crago played guitar for her.
Okay.
During the time-space era, I believe.
Okay,
so maybe they're on the tour bus because
they're on the tour bus. She probably wrote it in the tour bus.
So Street Angel was the tour where the only tour, right, where Stevie Nicks went across the country on a bus, which she would write about many years later in her song For What It's Worth.
Bingo.
And she was having an
now,
affair.
Who was the mysterious person in For What It's Worth, you think?
It was the
drummer?
The drummer of this tour.
He passed away, whoever it was.
Oh, he was working with Crosby, Stills and Nash, the drummer.
Yeah,
toured
the
with.
drummer.
The one from the Belladonna tour, Russ Kunkel. Was it him?
No, it was a different guy.
No,
Is he the mysterious person?
Russ Kunkel was on a couple of her tours, was he not?
Here, I can look it up.
He was on Street Angels tour, so was he the mysterious person referenced in For What It's Worth? I wonder.
Maybe.
I know who it is. I'll know when I see it.
It's someone with a girlfriend.
Knows who
That's all
it
we
is.
know.
He's
Someone
got
with
the
a girlfriend.
deeds.
It needs to be
not
looked
that I
up.
really care, but you know, it's interesting.
Okay, it's
Listen to the Rain. Can I?
Yeah.
Should I have done this? She talks about the front line in the very first line.
Is that the management she was bad at?
Oh yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's
well,
so
you're a
mad at
front
them.
liner.
Weasel management, maybe, but
You're a gambler. Well, she's talking about herself again.
yeah.
Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
This is about. Even though she didn't write it, it's vaguely about her. You know, that's why she, picked up on it.
Didn't she write the lyrics though? Because her names are in the credits.
Yeah, she wrote the lyrics.
Oh, she wrote the lyrics to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't see it on mine. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I overlooked it. Okay.
So she's realizing that Frontline is no more. She has no partnership with them anymore. They're out the door.
Right.
I like the. I don't like this song. I like the. I like that. I think that she needed a couple rockers other than Blue Denim, so she did this, and then she did the other one. What is the other Water Rain song? Listen to the Rain, and what's the other one? Love is like a river.
Love is like a river.
Thank you. So she needed those rockers in there. And what I found interesting about this song is she quotes so many different literary works like Phantom of the Opera, The Beauty and the Beast, Dark Shadows, which was a soap opera from back in the day, 60s, 70s. She just quotes all these different whatever's coming to her mind because, Stevie's known to quote that she would order all these Jimmy John's or Jason's Deli sandwiches and just watch all these soap operas in the 90s, the early 90s. And
I wonder if the reference to Dark Shadows was intentional. Sounds like you were arguing or you believe that it is.
I mean, I think, she maybe wasn't intentional. Maybe I don't know, but it was a soap opera coming up in her time. So she has come forth in several interviews that she watched All My Children and One Life to Live for
It was also
hours
in that time era too.
What's that, sir?
They remade it in that somewhere around that time.
Oh, did they?
Well.
Yeah, something like that.
So
you know, she was watching these shows.
Yeah.
So the drummer
on repeat or whatever.
The drummer on the tour was Dallas Taylor. I just looked it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Dallas.
That
Taylor.
was also a porn star's name, but I won't go there.
Yeah, I don't think it was the same Dallas. Although either way, it could have been fun on the bus, no matter which Dallas was there.
Pretty great name, for being honest. I mean.
All right. So, any thoughts on "Listen to the Rain" before we move on to Destiny?
Destiny. Okay. All
right. So this is Destiny's my least favorite song on the album. I always thought it was just a rolling, like kind of like rolls along, kind of boring.
We're about to clash harshly.
She uses some of the same lyrics from Enchanted, because this was written at the same time as Enchanted. Crying in the morning, trying to be strong, waiting for the spring to turn into the fall. Okay, Nathan, tell me why you love Destiny. I'm ready to hear.
Love the saxophone. Love the harmonies at the end. Love the callback to the song Enchanted.
Okay.
And I agree that this should have been the title track of the album.
Okay.
I'm on Team Nathan.
Where am I wrong? Thank you.
You're wrong because you call them background vocals. They're mixed so high, they might as well be the lead vocal because they're so loud in the damn mix. Wait
till Unconditional Love.
Yeah. Roland, I see your hand is up.
I thought it was kind of lazy of her to recycle lyrics, to be honest.
Actually,
the Dave Koz who plays sax, she actually did a song with him called "Let Me Count the Ways." You could find it on YouTube, I suppose. So if anyone's interested, apparently she liked the song because she did it live.
Right. I can go Jim and then Curtis.
She did it, yeah.
Actually, Destiny predates Enchanted.
Oh, that's it.
Read somewhere that it was written in '73, which was it was so prolific period for writing.
It is 1982 on the copyright. 82 and 94.
It's okay. Well,
that still predates Enchanted, correct?
Right, but still could have been written in '73. She just didn't copyright it till then.
That's where I read somewhere that she said it. She says it was written in '73.
Wow.
When I first heard this, put it in the player, and the lyrics from "Slow Down" from Enchanted, it teared me up for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And on that Wild Heart Air is very emotional for me. Finding out this singer that I didn't know her name, and the whole business with that. And it kind of teared me up, and it still kind of tears me up. It's funny, you put on a record for the first time, and it does that. Yeah, and that's about it for me. It predates Enchanted. I kind of confirmed that pretty hardly. I'm sticking to my story on that one. So
I've heard that too, Jim. I've heard that.
It's not. And when I first heard it, I felt, well, it's kind of you're kind of borrowing for yourself, which is okay. You got license to do that, but it's kind of recycling. But this is actually predates, right. And it's important to her, and she puts it out, and it's coming off of a very quick song, and it slows her down again, and it's bridges to the next song. So
See, I'm gonna go against Nathan because I hate this. I'm just not a saxophone person. Like, count me out on saxophone.
Is Dave Koz like a famous saxophone player, or just another guy, another session guy?
Kenny G.
I think he was. He has a record on Stevie Nicks is on it.
Okay, we're gonna do Curtis, then Ronnie.
Yeah, I really like this song, and I like how Nathan pointed out doing the callback to Enchanted. Those first two lyrics, whenever I listen to it, it reminds me of her and her sort of Enchanted era. I think of that interview where she's doing an interview and she talks about in the Wild Heart, and she talks about she's wilder and it's wilder. And, you think of the Belladonna days and the Wild Heart days, they're so, you know, fast moving, and she's very optimistic during that time in her life. And then you listen to Destiny and you think about sort of that time in her life when she's producing this album, but it's a period where the music's beginning to change, and you know, she's maybe trying to find herself and how she's going to progress after the 80s. I think it resonates really well sort of with her and that point in her career. And I really also like the harmonies at the end. It's really, really nice.
The crying, it is very pretty.
Yeah.
Crying in the morning. All right, Ronnie.
Just with what Curtis said, I don't mind the callbacks. I don't mind the repeat, the repeat lyrics, especially on "Say You Will," where
Oh, right.
I guess y'all have had that discussion before, and I don't mind that at all. It's kind of like a bookend, with that and that, but that's another story. With Destiny, I appreciate his comments. I think there was a vote earlier. I enjoy Enchanted better. It was original, but apparently Destiny was original.
Right.
I don't mind it, but could it be something different? Could it have been a different song? But I kind of like the idea of Destiny being the name of her album as well.
It does kind of have that country feel that goes on the album. Curtis.
See, I think something about Street Angel, which maybe what I like most about it, is I think some of the songs on this album are some of her most personal songs. I mean, Rose Garden, I think, is a real, shout out to her life and how she's got everything she's ever wanted, but she hasn't got that love in her life and she's lonely. And I think that, this album did really come from a time where she was starting to feel maybe that she was dipping. I mean, I listened to the that interview you brought up earlier on, where at the end the interviewer sort of said, we're here with Stevie Nicks talking about the album that she doesn't want you to put in your Christmas stocking.
Yep.
She really, it comes across that she just was not confident at that in this part of her life. And I think this is why Destiny is such a sad song, because you think whenever you hear about her talking about crying in the morning, and you think of Enchanted, and then you think of The Wild Heart and how she was just starting her solo career and the 80s, and that was a really exciting decade for her solo career. And then the 90s come along and she's just out of rehab, and maybe her life's taken a bit more of a step on the back burner, if you get what I mean. So I think it is quite a powerful song.
Yeah. Because the lyrics, it extends, and I don't know if this is the music, but the lyrics extends to 1994. So maybe she went back and reworked all that after she came out of rehab. So I get that.
I have heard the demo before, and I think the final version we have is a little bit pretty close to the 1982 demo.
82.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Destiny before we move on? Steven, did you say if you like this one or not like it?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
That's right. You said
it's one of my top 3 songs on that album. Yeah.
Alicia, did you weigh in on this one?
No, I did not. I like it. I think it's a good song. I guess if you look at it from a whole album perspective, it's weird to have the sax there when she doesn't. But I don't think she has any sax on any of the other songs, so it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Don't get me wrong, I like sax, but it's just it's kind of weird, if that makes any sense.
See, I still had PTSD from all that Kenny G one album before.
I think it's a good song. I've liked it the first time I heard it. It's just I like other songs off of this record better. It's as far as Love Is Like a River, Listen to the Rain, because I didn't say much there because I think everybody else said what I was going to say. But I don't like the verses, but I loved the chorus. I wish she did something different with the verses there. To kind of tie it in better, because when she does that Phantom of the Opera, Beauty and the Beast here, I never quite understood how that connected to take time to listen to the rain and to smell the roses.
Maybe she
It doesn't.
Sorry, I'm like, we're driving all over the place, going to the laundromat and seeing the disease and everything. All right.
Well, let's do one more song and then we'll take our halfway break. I can't talk. Unconditional Love was a song written by Sandy Stewart, who collaborated a lot on Wild Heart. Stevie worked with her on her Cat Dancer album. I don't care. I love Unconditional Love. I think it's it's pop perfection. The synthesizers are back. We have some tasteful percussion. Wasn't this originally going to be the first single of the album in its first incarnation?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people hate Unconditional Love. I've
like
always just had a special place in my heart. I think Sandy Stewart's a great songwriter, and I just have always loved everything she's written. So who wants to agree or disagree with me?
Agree.
I think it's beautiful. Oh, Steve, we have a
Steven.
down.
I know.
So Nathan and Steve,
Did you not notice in the chorus the melody is missing? It's all background singers. There's no melody in the chorus.
Unconditional Love.
That's not the chorus. I mean, that's not the melody.
There's no rules in Stevie Nicks.
Right?
If the background singers can sing,
say it again, Jim.
If the background singers can sing co-lead on All the Beautiful Worlds, they can sing the chorus in Unconditional Love.
I think Motown does that a lot.
Yeah, but they were singing the melody on All the Beautiful Worlds. They're not singing the melody on Unconditional Love. It's like a background track for karaoke without the melody of the song.
So Nathan, why do you not like this song?
I guess in general, I don't like it. So I would have to hear what the people who do think are its strongest points, and then I can give me a little jump.
I think it's adult contemporary heaven.
Yes, it's
elevator music.
Forgettable. It sounds like
I would say from an album of songs
on lunch shift. You're right. It is very adult contemporary. What's the last word you said?
Heaven.
You're right. It is adult contemporary heaven.
That's what you like.
The shrimps scampi.
It was almost the first single too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was promoted. There was a press release that was promoted. Upcoming Stevie Nicks 1992 Unconditional Push.
Sure.
I remember Cyndi Lauper had a song called Unconditional Love on her third album. What's the name of that album?
Night to Remember.
Night to Remember, yeah.
Yes, she did. Yes.
So me and my friends, we all had a party and we played the Cyndi Unconditional Love and the Stevie, and everyone voted which one they like more, and Cyndi won.
And Susanna Hoff covered it too. Yeah.
Of course Cyndi won.
I voted for Stevie Nicks on fucking Street Angel Unconditional Love. I love this song. End of podcast. No. Don't explain. Just lay back and watch the rain, you guys.
Or listen to the rain.
I thought that was the end. I can I throw out one item on this?
Of course.
Okay, this is the everyday. Unconditional Love is to Street Angel as every day is to Trouble in Shangri-La.
I agree with that. 100%.
Say it again. What? Say it again.
Might as well not be hers. I don't know. I'm not loving it.
Both songs
are Unconditional Love is to what? To what? To what? I didn't hear that.
Oh, every day on Trouble in Shangri-La. Like that song in the middle that's written by someone else that's very adult contemporary. I see the parallels. Every Day was the first single from Shangri-La, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Stevie did have a long run where she always had like other songwriters do stuff on her albums.
Go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead, sir.
That did stop on In Your Dreams, didn't it? I feel like those were all Stevie originals.
Yeah.
Then we have Carousel on 24 Karat, but that's different. But yeah, Nathan, I'm going to agree with you. And I love Every Day and I love Unconditional Love. So that's all I got to say. Anybody else? Jim, then Alicia.
Yes. Okay. It's a very romantic song.
Yes.
It's very forgiving. You know, you read through the lyrics and that gives you an indication of, and give you a second chance. It's unconditional, man. and I think it, for some reason, it reminds me of like 60s R&B period stuff, the vocals and stuff. It's not in that pop genre or rock genre. It's more into that Motown era of days past. I think it's kind of in that genre. It's I really love it.
Without soul.
Without soul, yeah.
I disagree with everybody here. Alicia, go ahead.
Well, I like this song because it is very romantic. That first verse is quite nice. And what I think is really different for Stevie with this song, because she does a lot of breakup songs and a lot of "I hate you" or "You did me wrong." I mean,
a lot of them.
Just play the game of find a positive song in Stevie's repertoire as far as romance songs, and this is one of the few. The other one I can think of is "Sleeping Angel."
That's a nice song.
Yeah.
Maybe love will change your mind.
Good point.
Yeah.
If you ever did believe.
It's a good point.
But there's very few.
Compared to the other kind, the ratio definitely favors the breakup.
Fall from grace.
And so, to me, this is a very positive. At least it gives positive, good vibes. Yeah, maybe the music itself isn't the greatest, and like you were saying, it seems like a lot of these songs had the same kind of beat to the same general. But I liked the lyrics.
Absolutely.
So I think this was an album that was more lyric based than music based for her.
All right, Ronnie.
So I didn't realize that there was so much hate for this song. I like it. I love it. I mean, Sandy Stewart wrote it, obviously. I think this is another one. I'm sorry. Was that you, Jeremy, or was that Alicia? I can't.
No, that was me.
Okay. You know, I think it was a phone-in call or a phone song that, like, Maybe Love. You're like, hey, Sandy, I need some songs. I need a pop song.
Right.
It's, you know, it's very upbeat. It's very poppy. It's very, you know, it breaks up the monotony of all her negative, like depressing type songs. And I love it. You know, who doesn't want unconditional love?
I'll settle for a date right now.
Hey, Tampa.
We can start off
nice song.
So
and I listened to your song and I like it.
In addition to
Roland,
my Patreon, I also have a Grindr profile, everybody. Okay.
What's going on, Roland? You said something, sir?
It's a nice song. I think had it been on a record, this would have been the side 2 opener, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this would have been. So we probably should have paused after Destiny, but I just had to sneak this in. Curtis, have you talked about this song? I'm dying to know if you're on our team or theirs.
I feel like I'm swaying on the negative side about this song only because I don't know. But then listening, my mind changes so much on some of these songs. But it's sort of, I don't know. The chorus is a little. The chorus is a little bit too repetitive, I think. Comes across a little bit too repetitive. It seems like you hear the chorus more than you hear verses in this song.
She is kind of screaming a little bit. But
no, it's not. If it's not a bad song, it's not bad. It's just, it probably wouldn't be up there with the songs that I favor on this album.
I think this should have been the lead song of, you know, the album.
The opening track?
I mean, it's kind of out there, you know, following The Other Side of the Mirror, but like, why shouldn't this be labeled Unconditional Love other than something crazy like Street Angel. Who's going to walk up into, what was it back then, Jeremy? It was like CD-Rama in the mall or whatever.
Blockbuster Music.
No, well, in the mall, Camelot or whatever.
Sam Goody.
Who's going to walk up and, oh, I want this album that says Street Angel?
Me.
Well, me too, but only because, thank you, Jim. Only because Stevie's name is on it. Yeah.
Street Angel, 8 copies sold, and we bought all of them. Jim.
Sold 38,000. 38,000. It ended up at 500,000. It went gold.
Oh, it did go gold?
Yeah, it went gold. The dance tour brought a lot of people in.
Okay.
You know, the dance made some late careers for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Some houses and shit.
Yeah.
You know, those 38,000 were the hardcore, loyal Stevie fans the first week.
First day.
I think on the charts it was
rolling.
I don't think it was in the top 10 or anything.
It didn't. I don't think it made even a top 40.
No.
I was reading today. I don't think it made.
I think in the 50 something, but I have to look at it.
And I will say at this time.
Go up to,
let me just say.
Did this go up to like number 46, or was it the single that went up around 46?
Level Change Your Mind was in the 40s or 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this you could find in the Walmart $4.99 bin still, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If they still have it. But you know, back then, $4.99.
And we paid full price.
I know. I did pay
the first week.
I paid full price. The first day when it came out.
Yes, sir.
I never thought Stevie Nicks was going to be popular again. Like at this point, I never foresaw the comeback that would happen with the dance a couple years later. And, you know, that's something we'll talk about later. But I
kind of did.
You did? You thought she'd be back?
Kinda, yeah. But that's foreshadowing like she does, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't.
The only thing that kind of made her cool at the time is Hole covered Gold Dust Woman and then Smashing Pumpkins.
But I thought she came back. And it was a big deal when it was a big deal when Smashing Pumpkins did Landslide because she was washed up. So wow, she's popular again with Smashing Pumpkins.
Right. That definitely was
Gold Dust Woman with Hole.
Those were definitely needed at the time. Like those kind of helped out transition to where, you know, then, you know, the alternate kids started thinking Stevie Nicks was cool because Hole and Smashing Pumpkins, then the dance came along. And of course the first glimmer of anything was the Twisted soundtrack, the Twister soundtrack.
Yeah, excellent song. Excellent song.
That's a really good song.
That was the beginning of everything that's leading up to now, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll get to that later. Does anyone have any final thoughts on Unconditional Love before we take a 5-minute break? Steven.
I just want to say that I don't hate this song. I just want to remix it. That's it.
Yes.
I just want to say that we can admit when we're backed into a corner on this, I guess, because now Steven, we had 3 on 5 here in terms of the group split between liking this, you know. But I don't know where you're coming down now, Stephen Larder. It's hard to say.
Listen, I've got Stevie, Lori, Sharon, and Sarah Fleetwood on my side this time around.
That's right.
Unconditional, I guess.
Oh, Curtis, is your hand up?
Yeah, because I wanted to say, whenever we hit the 5-minute break, I'm probably going to have to go because it's 3 a.m. here, unfortunately. But I just wanted to say some closing comments before I left. I love every other song on the rest of this album. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that Jane isn't popular, but that's one of my favorite ones off this album. It's a good song. And I think just about the album in general, I think the reason why I love Street Angel so much is because to me, it's sort of like the last album where Stevie, I feel like, takes real like creative risks in the writing, sort of the way she did in Rock a Little and The Other Side of the Mirror, where it was sort of her going into her own personal, like, I know this might not hit the charts, but this is what I want to do. I think that comes across in Street Angel. And then after that, you've got obviously Trouble in Shangri-La and In Your Dreams, which are incredible albums. You know, don't get me wrong, and her songwriting in those albums is fantastic.
Sure.
But I think that it's just sort of, and 24 Karat Gold. But I think it's sort of an album where you see them creative risks, you know, because she's not so worried about what people might think. And that's just my personal opinion. I think it's a really underappreciated, fantastic album. And yeah, it's been great getting to chat to you guys tonight. I look forward to joining the next one.
Yes, you had to join for at least the first group of songs for each album.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, Curtis.
Take a nap. Take a nap.
Nice to meet you, Curtis.
Yes, you too, guys. Bye.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Phonogenics 101. We are 2 hours in, and we've only talked about half a Street Angel. I'd like to start part 2 by saying that I feel like I may have been given the wrong impression because I'm saying that some of these songs are so bad, they're so good. I don't even know if I feel that, but I just feel that this was the album where Stevie was at the lowest point in her career, and I was 19 when it came out, so I was in a very formative time in my life, so I have a very special relation to this album that maybe doesn't make me very objective. I love it, though.
I'm adding up the math. Were you a little bit older than 19? We're the same age.
No, I was 19 in 1994.
Okay, you're right. I did not have a beer at that concert. You're correct, sir.
How old are you?
We're the same age.
Oh, you're just, okay. All right.
It must have been the next tour that I had a beer.
Well, the drinking age was 18.
Legally.
Drinking age was 18 in a lot of places at that time.
Not in Ohio.
Totally.
So,
Said Ohio.
Ronnie's in Ohio.
Oh, cool. Michigan here.
Hey, buddy. Neighbor. Go blue.
Okay, so we talked about Unconditional Love. The next thing here is dun, 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 dun. Then the girls come in really loud. Ooh, ooh. And Street Angel continues with a song that was originally demoed in 1984 for the Rock a Little album in a much more synthesized version. But what we have here is definitely a rock and roll version of Love is Like a River. First of all, let's talk about the background vocals. Some
Straight
call it
back.
love. Some say they're above that.
Ugh.
I believe that
Ugh.
it's worth it.
Ugh.
I suck as a host, don't I? Okay, how do you guys Dude, we're talking about Love is Like a River. Life doesn't. This is the highlight of my life ever, as I found more than one other person in the world to talk about Stevie Nicks' Love is Like a River at length with. Life is a success. Nathan, I need to know, because you totally dogged my Unconditional Love. How do you feel about Love is Like a River?
Great song. Terrific. I don't have too many words on it. I really like it. I like that it opens up the second side, except that it doesn't, because there's not a there aren't two sides to it, right? To the point. Yeah, no, I have nothing to add on Love is Like a River.
Re-sequence. What about that music solo? That's like one of the best guitar solos ever.
Who does that?
No, the one in the middle of the song. It's great.
It's just good stuff.
What about Straight Back to the Sea? Straight
Now,
back.
isn't this poignant about what was going on in her life right now? Everything all around me is electric now, but I haven't burned a candle in a real long time. I mean, she does not burn her candles anymore. How sad.
Oh,
That
yeah.
part.
It's all
Phenomenal.
electric now. It's all light bulbs.
That part.
Naked light bulbs.
That's a phenomenal sequence right there. I love that.
I do love it too.
Yeah, that's great. Then it goes into that great music solo.
Okay, I have to look at the shit.
You guys don't love the music song?
Do I love it? The fade out, she's like, that's just what I needed to hear.
Out of sight.
I think
Outside.
Out of sight. That's just what I wanted to hear. Out of sight.
I was in a recording studio, like doing an album back around that time, and I played this track, the music solo in the middle for the guys. Like, I'm trying to get this kind of sound. I want you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
He's a total hard rocker, and he's blown away. And he's like, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "This is Stevie Nicks," and he couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Steve,
the music in that track is incredible.
Wasn't the song not on the original track list? I feel like this one got added in the second round. I could be wrong, but I feel like this.
I think the title was there.
The title was there? Okay.
And the letter from Ginny Kimono.
All right. Ronnie.
I'm confused. So, Steven, you are in a band, or you worked with a band that was recording something, and you wanted to present a track with this track.
Well, you're trying to get a particular sound, and it's hard to articulate that sometimes. So I was like, this is what I want it to sound like. Like, it had great hi-hats in it and cowbell and just the effects that they put on the guitar.
If you could write a better song around it, absolutely. Yeah, I understand that.
It's not a perfect song, but the music in it is really good.
So, Ronnie, do you feel like you might be...
I agree. It is. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Steven, do you feel like you might be the only person in the world that walked into a recording studio and said, I want my album to sound like Stevie Nicks' Love is Like a River?
In 1994.
Yeah, in 1994.
But I didn't play him the whole song. I just played him the music in the center of the song.
Okay.
Right before she goes into the vocals that Roland was talking about. Like, it's just wild.
It's wild.
It's like I Don't Care from whatever future album she ever recorded.
Hey, hey. Excuse me. I like the hey, heys after that guitar solo. If you all remember where the hey, heys fit into that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the girls, though. Was that the girls?
No, that was her, I think.
Hey.
That's Stevie.
And then she also did the...
Yeah, that scream in the middle is great. Whoa! Yeah, it's fantastic.
Is there anybody on board to start a change.org petition that she should open her next tour with Love is Like a River? Is anyone...
No.
You know, I don't like the song, but, you know, it'd be nice to hear songs that she's never done, whether I like them or not, for a change.
I just want to hear something off Street Angel. Please. Anything.
What did on?
Play Destiny. The saxophone version. I don't care. I want to hear anything from this album.
Rose Garden.
All right.
Just like a woman.
Do we have any other thoughts on Love is Like a River? I feel like not everybody. Okay, Jim.
It's Stevie usually on her record, she has this one blowout angry song. This is it. And just a lot of pace changes and a lot of what do you call it? Chaotic stuff and my wife hates this one. I love it. It's there's a lot of cryptid lyrics where she knows what it is, and it's about some bad stuff going down in her life, and only she knows went down. And oh gosh, where was it? Oh, that uptight lady and out of sight part. And so that's what I wanted to hear. Out of sight. It has a double meaning, like she's, looking good, being looking pretty or whatever you describe it, or just completely gone out of the picture. It could be either one of those. There's some double meaning there. I kind of like that part, but I really like this. It's the pissed off Stevie you expect when you put the needle down on a record.
And Steven, I keep thinking about that middle part. It's so chunky, like the It's so good.
It's right before that though.
You like the crazy section, right?
Yeah, but I like both of them together, and then I love the bridge she wrote. Like, I think it's really great.
I think the Missions enjoyed this work here. Pulling this off live would have been quite interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ronnie.
I don't think I think it's like one of those crazy. I can't wait. I can't pull it off live. But you're right. It would have been cool to hear the instruments, Jim. And I listened to this, and I listened to the other Water Song or whatever it is, the rocker, and I just think it's like a great cardio exercise.
Listen to that.
Do. And there's a couple other.
Listen to the rain.
There's not really any more points I wanted to make. It's like Roland said earlier that everything's electric now, and that's a lyric from this song, I think. Well, she's referring to all the synthesizers, and she doesn't know what's that. She doesn't even know how to record a VCR or whatever at this point. Everything's electric now, and they're going to do it for me if I pay them the right price, just like I did Lindsay. She didn't pay him, but they're going to do it for me. Everything's electric now.
It could mean
that's what I get from the lyrics.
Something else. I think it's more a sexual nature, or
what now, sir? What?
Could be more.
What, Jim?
It could be more in a sexual nature or something else. I don't
think
it
could multiple meanings.
Yeah. I think there's some to it. I think
it could
It might actually. It might be something dynamic in her life.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm with you there.
Well, all right. So.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Alicia,
I agree with you, Jim, but keep going, Jeremy, with this.
Alicia, have you waited on this one?
I like the song. It's definitely the rocker off of this record. So yeah, it's the big epic song, if you could say that, for this record.
I will say that I feel like I Don't Care wishes it was Love Is Like a River.
If you get rid of the synthesizer, it would probably tie it. But I like this song. I do agree with Jim. I think there's more sexual meaning to this than. But she could definitely. She's really good at kind of linking different things and having double meanings. But I do think it's more a relationship song.
Or mysteriously hiding within her lyrics. I agree with that, absolutely.
But, I mean, you have some lyrics that are like, you can't say no in the middle of the night. Because I was listening to this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just sit there when Jim was saying.
Bingo!
Yeah.
Bingo!
I can't say no at I can't say no at any time of the day, so I don't know about you.
And you can't stay home in the middle of the night.
Okay.
That's why she's an uptight lady.
Okay, you guys are going somewhere else with that, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the open-mindedness, but I was thinking more on the lines of Tom Petty telling her, don't stay home. You got to go out. You got to go out to the clubs. That's what I was thinking, but I guess I'm just innocently minded, but not really. I'm not. I am when it comes to Stevie. That's all I got to say. I
think they're all right.
Let's remember that this was written in 1984, so it wasn't a different time.
1984?
Yeah, it was originally demoed for Rock a Little.
Oh, okay.
Can't stay home in the middle of the night. Go out and find. Okay, Cat House Blues. Okay, I'll shut up now.
Wasn't it this one that was demoed, or am I imagining things? Have you guys ever heard the original demo?
No.
I actually think it's originally from. I think it's a Tusk. I think there's a Tusk outtake of it. Certainly, there's a Belladonna outtake. I think there's a Tusk outtake.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Check it out. Look it up.
Love is like a. Okay, it's kind of making sense to me now, but okay, I'll shut up now.
I just looked it up. And there's a Rock a Little demo, so I do remember. That's the one I do remember. All right. Well, any thoughts on Love is Like a River before we move on? Hey, 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 my precious ones. Is it time to move on to the next song? Okay. Rose Garden, written in
65.
65. One of the first songs she ever wrote. The first song she ever wrote was I've Loved, I've Lost in, what was it called? I've Loved, I've Lost in...
I'm sad, I'm not blue.
I'm sad, but not blue.
I'm crazy about you.
Maybe that will make 24 karat gold part
He was so true, and
you have to roll your eyes when you say it.
So was Rose Garden perhaps the second song Stevie Nicks ever wrote?
Or pretend you're Robin Anderson, her best friend, and say, Stevie, it's a great song. You'll become very famous one day.
All right, the first time I heard Rose Garden, I was underwhelmed, but now I love it. And I do like the Enchanted version better with a little bit less of the guitar overdubs. Because
wait, so we're speaking with several. I mean, I don't want to throw shade to anyone here on the panel at all, because I appreciate all you. I've watched all you guys for a while, especially you, Nathan, because I appreciate your opinion, even though I don't agree with them all the time.
You can say that again.
No, sir. I'm the junior person here, but I joined later, and like the younger people who joined us from Ireland earlier. Where was I going with that, Jeremy? What was your question?
I was just talking about how I like the original mix of Rose Garden that went on the Enchanted box set by accident. The instrumentation's a little bit more.
The box set.
Yeah,
I was thinking the tour, but keep going.
Yeah. So the three Street Angel songs that are on the Enchanted box set, Stevie's record company sent over the earlier mixes by accident from the original incarnation of the album. So that's why the versions are a little bit cleaner sounding on Enchanted.
Yeah.
And on this song for Rose Garden, I like the Enchanted box set version better than the album version, but I might be going way too nerdy here.
No, you're not.
Okay.
This is a very sweet song, and when she did the Enchanted tour, she did this as an acoustic. It's acoustic. She did it as a little part of her acoustic set, which is very nice.
Oh, with Garbo and
Sleeping Angel.
Sleeping Angel,
yeah.
Good.
So it's nice to hear live, and it's a very nice, sweet song.
I'd love to hear Rose Garden live. Oh, Nathan, I see your hand is up.
I think that sometimes in life you have to make choices, and she should have made a choice between this song and Destiny, because they're interchangeable, and with Destiny and Rose Garden being both on this album, and by being interchangeable, they cancel each other out. So it's a serious low point for me. Serious low point.
Wow.
Oh.
So Nathan, which one would you take out, Rose Garden or Destiny?
Rose Garden.
I would take
Big D.
Got to think on my feet here. Well, I think that you have to. Then I think I would take out Rose Garden and leave Destiny, because that saxophone is. There's no other saxophone on this album, right? And it's good to mix it up. So
Rose Garden's very
on my feet. Tell me why I'm wrong. We're done.
Wrong. Because Rose Garden into Maybe Love Will Change Your Mind is amazing.
Okay, well, we'll get to that.
Thank you.
Jim.
Yes. When I think of Rose Garden, I think of the Lynn Anderson song. I think it was released in 70, and that version was written in like 67. And when I heard this, I said, well, Stevie's just kind of borrowing a title from a very famous country song. And that kind of for a while. And then researching this last month, I said, well, God, Steve actually most likely come up with a phrase. I think Rose Garden was used a lot back in the day.
Right.
And phrase that was, you never promised me Rose Garden, was a phrase that was used back in that day.
Mm-hmm.
May have been, a lexiconic phrase. And, well, she wrote a song around it. But apparently it predates the famous version of the Lynn Anderson country song written by a male. I listened to that today, and you can tell a man wrote that, you know, by the lyrics. And it was, of course. And it was like Jimmy Iovine likes that stuff, you know, female doing a male role song. So, and this is kind of, well, from that song, but it's very, it's sort of a premonition song, like I think Garbo's like that, and there's some others. Some from Belladonna. What was that? After the Glitter Fades?
Yep.
It's really a lot like that. She wrote a lot of stuff back then that was premonitions of what happened to her, and this fits what happened to her in her life up till this day. It's pretty much, she has no ring on the finger and everything. She has everything that her, you know, she would want, you know, except like that love legacy that, you know, she may wanted. I think she's, like I said before, this album has a bit of a jaded feeling about relationships. You know, she was through a lot of bad ones. You know, the right one didn't come around, and she always had that door open, and and it was closing then.
Yeah.
Well, all right. And that's probably why she included it, kind of, you know, it fit this record for that reason.
Any other thoughts on Rose Garden?
I like it. But to me, this should have been something that got released to the country radio.
Yeah.
It's a good storytelling song, which would have fit perfectly.
I had to let my cat into my room, but keep talking.
Let your cat in.
I just let my cat out. I think she should have replaced this song with Are You Mine, which was the other country one that she did. Right? Should have done Are You Mine instead of this one, because Rose Garden is too interchangeable with the other one, and Are You Mine is more fun, and you can only have so many self-premonition, you know, reflecting. So I think a better choice would have been, but, you know, they didn't ask me.
Was Are You Mine ever recorded studio-wise?
Well, we got the demo on something, on the Wild Heart.
Right.
I mean, Jim, that's the one I go on. That was spontaneous, and it does it for me. I mean, Stevie's like an in-betweener. She can go country, she can do rock, of course, and she can do like R&B stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, she could release a whole record of past songs that are country. She has released enough 12 tracks. You know, that's all right. After the Glitter Fades, If You Ever Did Believe, etc., etc.
Too Far from
Rolling
Texas.
Go ahead, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying Too Far from Texas.
That too. Too Far from Texas. Yeah. That too.
Yeah. Rolling, just like Cyndi Lauper did a whole freaking country album. Stevie could do this. Same. I don't think it would do anything in the, you know, with the charts or whatever, but it would be for the fans.
That's too gimmicky.
Gimmicky,
don't you think?
It wasn't for Cyndi. I saw her.
I didn't care for it.
It was
like I'm a huge Cyndi Lauper.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't think Detour was that great. I didn't like the Cyndi.
Yeah, her
tour was awesome. I just got to say that.
I saw the tour. I thought it was all right.
She did a tribute to Prince, and you know she incorporated all her other stuff. So whatever. Keep going, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
Because I just felt like Cyndi started like genre hopping because she had like the blues album. Yeah. She had the country one. She had the dance one, Bring It to the Brink, which I love. That's a whole nother conversation, though. Okay.
But yeah, she could do that. You know, I don't think Stevie could really do that, but Cyndi can, you know. But that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think it's a fine line to naturally progress into a genre and then to take the genre first and then try it on for size. And I feel like,
yeah.
I feel like with Stevie, she's kind of always stayed on brand and has kind of veered off a little bit. But I think that's why she's remained such an icon. Is she hasn't veered off too far. I don't know. I'm just talking off the top of my head. Rose Garden, it's all right. I will say before we move on, speaking of songs...
Isn't it in the Storyteller's video?
Yeah.
Is it in the Storyteller's video?
It is, I think.
Maybe.
Someone stole my story. Well, they didn't steal it. I mailed them my story. It's like, if they're watching this, I'd like my DVD back that I sent you 10.5 years ago.
Yeah, they better.
My copy was so much better than hers. She knows who she is. And so, yeah, I think it is. I think it is in that video.
Speaking of B-sides from this album, I felt like the version of... Because Curtis was talking about the version of 1,000 Days. I thought the version she recorded during Street Angel was terrible. Because they had like that saxophone. There was more saxophone in that version. Have you all heard that before?
Is that the Enchanted version?
Yeah, it's the same one. It was recorded during Street Angel era.
I love it.
Okay.
You love it?
I love it. Love it.
And then she recorded the best version of Mirror Mirror ever during the Street Angel era. I love the version that she did.
Me too.
That she released. They released the Rock Little version by accident on the cassette single for Blue Denim. Once again, the record company made a mix-up and released the demo version to the public. But once the actual Street Angel version leaked, I can't understand why that didn't make the album, because that was a really powerful performance, in my opinion. Slap bass and all.
I think back in those days, she might have been still early enough in her, not quite the matron of rock status or whatever that she is nowadays, that she would have taken the advice of an editor. And I think that's why Mirror Mirror didn't come out at either time, because it's too wordy. It's too much going on there.
Okay.
I think even a big fan would agree with that, right?
There's a lot going on for sure.
A lot in there.
Mabel Norman made it. I think Mirror Mirror should make it the best.
And I will agree with that.
That's my point. Nowadays, you can't tell her she needs an edit. You probably couldn't say that, or probably wouldn't get as much traction.
Because you don't tell Bob Dylan that.
Well,
didn't Bob Dylan
maybe
come out
someone should,
I know. Bob Dylan came out with like a half-hour-long song a couple years ago, didn't he? And
yes, with Stevie and Lindsay mentioned. It was so boring.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got through that song. It was like 15 minutes.
Right.
Speaking of wordy Stevie songs, even that last one she came out with, the Show Them the Way, there's a lot of words in there.
Oh, yeah.
I liked it, though.
Yeah.
All right. Any thoughts on Rose Garden before we continue on with our discussion? Okay. Maybe Love Will Change Your Mind, one of my favorite Stevie Nicks songs. I don't even want to talk about with you guys, so let's move on to just like... I love the mandolin. I think it's sweet. I love the chorus. I love everything about this song. I love that there was no video.
The demo.
It just plays.
I wish there was a video.
See, I like that there's not, because it just has a place in my heart that's all its own. Like, to me, the video for Maybe Love Will Change Your Mind is me at 19 living out of my car. And that was just the place and time where it sits. I just think it's such a sweet song. I like the original mix that has kind of some different parts. And I like the final mix too. I think they're just both beautiful songs. So,
but we're not discussing that because you don't want to.
No, we can't. So what do you guys think of Maybe, or as it was called in the European singles, Maybe Love?
Shorten it up, trim it down a little bit, call it Maybe Love. That's my only beef with it. Other than that, I think it's the best song on the album.
Yeah, it's so good. So sweet.
Great bridge.
Oh my God. Love the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, the You Want Me to Be There part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You show me your lifeline, reveal your darker side. Is that what it says, or brighter side? It's so
brighter
sweet.
Yeah, something like that.
This song is like Stevie Nicks' perfection, in my opinion. I know Sandy Stewart wrote it. But I feel like they were kindred spirits anyway.
I want to hear everyone else's opinion. Alicia, Jim, Roland.
I would have been happier if this song came out in the 80s, because it sounds like a very 80s kind of song to me, like a very pop Belinda Carlisle, who I love.
Yeah.
But it fits into that era rather than the 94. Like I said, you know, Alanis Morissette, and I'm singing about complaint. It doesn't fit into what was going on in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Though Stevie's unique, so she's allowed, but you know, it did not chart well, unfortunately. You know,
No,
it did not resonate with people.
I feel like aesthetically though, it sounded like '90s country pop. Like I don't think.
Thank you for that, Jeremy.
What's that?
Maybe
all I said was thank you for that, Jeremy, but I interrupted Roland, so keep going, Roland. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, okay. If it's country, they might have considered releasing it to the country stations, see how it did there, rather than pop radio, which did not succeed with this song.
Right. Steven,
you don't think it sounds like REM?
Absolutely.
Art, yeah.
I think it has a college rock sound for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't really like. I'm a big Belinda Carlisle fan, and her stuff is very like sugary, like syrupy, and I felt like Maybe Love is more kind of sweet but jaded.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my opinion doesn't mean shit. That's just my opinion.
Your channel.
Yeah. Alicia, have you talked about this one?
No, I have not. I like it. I mean, it may not be one of my, well, it's not probably my top 3 off this record, but there's a couple of them that I just, when I hear them, like Docklands or Love is Like a River, I just repeat them and repeat them. So by the time I get to this point in the record, I'm kind of a little bit fatigued. I'm jumping all the way to God's Garden and Inspiration. But this is a good song. It really is. I agree. It's probably more country pop. You kind of had that Faith Hill and Shania Twain was coming out in the middle of the 90s. It's to me, this kind of offsets with Unconditional Love with this record. They're both kind of a positive, upbeat. So yeah, I mean, it's a good song.
At the time, I was in love with this straight boy named Scott, which was, of course, like torture. But I'm beside myself because I don't know and you won't tell. Like, oh, I've been there so many times. Your distant world somehow lured me in. Like, been there many times. So, I don't know. This one just really, it
resonates.
Yeah, it resonates. And she sang it like she meant it too. Like,
she did.
I don't feel like she just went and sang a vocal. I feel like she was definitely feeling something there. And this is a song where I think the harmonies are glorious too. Like sometimes they're a little over the top on this album, but to me, it's definitely my Stevie Nicks top 10 of all time, believe it or not.
I just noticed Rick Knowles is on this one too.
Who wrote with Belinda Carlisle? He was a big collaborator with Belinda.
Yeah.
He co-wrote this. Yeah.
Really? Let me take a look at this.
I just noticed. Yeah.
Well, oh my God, he sure did. So that's so crazy that you pulled out a Belinda Carlisle comparison. Then her main songwriter is the one that wrote this song.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they worked together. Kind of. Yeah, they worked together.
And Rick would later go on to work with Madonna on Ray of Light, and then with Lana Del Rey now.
Yeah.
So he's amazing.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals as well, but I could be wrong.
Okay, cool.
I'm getting producers or writers confused now.
Wait.
Well, I love this song so much, I feel like I monopolized the conversation, but I'm going to allow myself to do that just because I love it so much. Jim.
Yes, I think it's a real good pop song, but at that time, it was a bad fit for radio.
Yeah.
For pop radio. It didn't fit the times, but it's a good song. Like you're talking about, the chorus is really good. And, you know, it's got a good message. You know, it's about, you know, maybe we can just work things out. You know, that's a kind of song it is.
Yeah.
but it didn't work on radio or whatever. It was, you know, there was a messy area for Stevie. She coming out of she did the mixing while she was in rehab. I mean, there was things like that the energy or the momentum going forward to get this thing to make it a powerhouse. I like to remark that if this was her first debut record and she was never in Fleetwood Mac, I think it would have broke through. I think it would have broke somehow.
Yeah.
And that, you know, she was never in Fleetwood Mac, and she was someone, if she was 28 or 24 or something and wrote this stuff, because she wrote great stuff back in the day also. Yeah. But if this was her debut and she was a nobody, I think this might have broke through to an audience.
Roland, I see your hand was up.
And this was part of a trend of her downward spiral, unfortunately, because with Behind Them, it started with Other Side of the Mirror when Two Kinds of Love didn't chart and a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And then on Behind the Mask, she had no singles at all. And then on Time Space, the Sometimes Is a Bitch song did not do well.
Right.
And then this one doesn't do well either. So it was really like, oh, gosh, she's falling.
It was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Yeah.
It was not going to be a comeback.
Right. Ronnie.
I mean, with this song, along with what Roland just said and Jim as well, I mean, she was phoning it in to Sandy like, I need a hit song.
Yeah.
You know, I need something contemporary enough. And then it obviously fell on the adult contemporary charts. I like the song. I love the song, actually. There's some other notes here. It was with I wanted to ask Jeremy, it's the mandolin. Did Waddy Wachtel play that mandolin or whatever? That.
Well, most likely.
Yeah, it must be, because I don't see anyone else credited on it.
Because at that time, the REM and 10,000 Maniacs and all these other artists were doing that time within the 92 to 94 version or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she just went with it, and I love it. I love that song. I think it was a great lead song, even though she didn't read it or she didn't write it. Yeah.
It's pretty good live. I watched some live version.
It was good live. Yeah, absolutely.
I think she kind of stuck with it through I don't know, most of the tour. I have to look back on that.
I would give anything to bring this back into the set list.
What's that, sir?
I'd give anything for this to come back into the set list.
Yeah.
Anything.
I think she won't do it again because, you know, she didn't write it, but I think she did it well live. And it goes in that genre of all these Stevie songs that doesn't, you know, she didn't write, but they're hits.
Right.
Or hits in some right.
Starting with Talk to Me. Well, Stop Dragging My Heart.
Yes, sir.
Well, any thoughts on Maybe Love before we move on to the final stretch of the album? All right. So Bob Dylan comes along next for a cover of Just Like a Woman. Didn't she want him to sing on it? And he said no, but he played harmonica instead. Is that the story?
Yep.
I kind of like this song. Like some people, I've read in some forums, like some Stevie fans really hate it. I don't mind it. I'm not mad at it. What do y'all think of it?
I don't like it. I'm not crazy about the original, so therefore when she did it, it's like, nah.
Okay.
And I don't think she really brings anything new to it. Like, you know, that's a point of doing a remake. It's just a woman singing it, but it doesn't. And she says, "Oh, it's from a woman's point of view." But really,
Jim, did you
I think she could have done something else instead.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Jim.
Yes. It I get the impression from Roland that it doesn't add much. It doesn't. And that's what I wrote down. It doesn't add much to the Bob Dylan version. And I love the Bob Dylan version. And she made a mistake. This is funny. Instead of pills, the original version is pearls.
Oh.
Amphetamines and pearls, which adds a lot of color to it. And amphetamine pills is kind of like, man, you're taking a lot of pills and drugs and shit. So,
surprised you didn't take a writing credit.
Correct, but already recorded. Yeah.
Seven Wonders.
Emmeline, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? The pills kind of puts it in context for what's going on in her life.
Yeah. Well, that she was a,
And pills does go with amphetamines rather than pearls. That's wearing pearls around your neck.
Well, that's Bob Dylan,
Unless they're edible.
You corrected Bob Dylan.
Oh, don't tell Lindsay. I love the chorus of this song. Like, he eggs just like I can sing along to that, but I think the bridge is god awful. Just stay in here.
She's talk singing.
Yeah, that's true.
She's trying to Bob. She should have winged it as her own self and went that way with it. It may not have worked at all, but it might have been spectacular. It's either or.
And I think it's the background singers that make me enjoy the chorus. Like, it's just fun to sing along to. But I think if Stevie Nicks never covered Just Like a Woman, my life would have gone on. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's she added her style in it, but it didn't add to the song. That's pretty iconic.
What? What?
This was certainly no I Still Miss Someone. So she pulls in David Crosby, who's a has-been for this album.
Oh, wow.
She pulls in David.
Yeah, wow.
She pulls in Bob Dylan, who at that point was kind of looked at as not as the top of his career, right? So it's just like, I feel like there's so many things stacked against this album.
But he was well respected, though.
Yeah.
He's like what Stevie is now at that time. He was really well respected.
I feel like Dylan's always been respected. Like, he never really had a low point. Maybe in the 70s, but from the 80s on, he was always revered. Same with like Joni Mitchell. I feel like they're always looked at as legends, even if their current album is terrible. Like, it's still Bob Dylan, right?
Could be our age too.
Yeah.
Or with Elton John, like, nobody could stand him in the 60s. The 60s to the 70s, nobody liked him, supposedly, according to Elton John.
Okay. Well, I still don't like him because he called Madonna a fairground stripper, so I haven't forgiven him for that. And then she won the award after that, so take that.
Exactly.
Alicia, any thoughts?
I'm sorry, I got you off track, so keep going, sir.
Alicia, any thoughts on Just Like a Woman?
Well, okay, so the first time I heard this record, it was probably in 2008. And I only got about halfway through because this is so different from the rest of her repertoire that the first time I didn't like it. This was a slow burner of a record for me. And I had to get through her iconic her albums and kind of get over the whole gypsy rock and roll persona that she does to really appreciate this record and to accept it for what it is. But the song that I really listened to, beyond the 2 or 3 that were off of a Chanted that I liked, was Just Like a Woman. That made me go, oh, hey, because I had it on my iPod and it was randomized, and this is the song that came up, and I went, Stevie, okay. And yeah, kind of made me think of After the Glitter Fades, which was something I liked. And so this made me kind of start going, well, maybe I need to find that Street Angel album. So while, yes, I agree, this is not anything spectacular maybe for her. And I will admit, I'm not a Bob Dylan fan. I think he's a great songwriter, but I can't listen to his work.
Same here.
I don't like his voice. So I can't tell you about his version. but I liked this. This was enough for me to then pull out this record and really give it another try. And that's
Absolutely.
where I started to really appreciate this record 4 or 5 years ago. So
now my good friend Shay would shoot me for saying this, but I don't even like Bob Dylan's songwriting, to be honest with you. I think he's really overrated.
Well, all the songs that I have heard from him are the ones that everybody covers, and I go,
right.
They're good. I will never buy one of his records. No offense to anybody. Just
and music's totally subjective, so there's no right or wrong. I just feel like he's his own biggest, like, he really feels like he's brilliant.
Yes.
I'm here to tell him that he is not. He's no Stevie Nicks.
Jeremy.
And here comes all the thumbs down, like on my podcast, like boom, boom.
Right.
Are we talking about Johnny Cash or Bob Dylan?
Both. No, Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan.
Oh.
Nathan, what do you think of Bob Dylan?
Little long-winded for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't love the delivery. I'm with you. I'm with the crowd on this one.
Well, no way. You're not with the crowd. What's going on, Nathan? You're blocked. Are you doing a line of coke or what's going on in there?
NBC.
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you, sir.
Okay,
I didn't realize you were still with us.
Just like a woman, like I said, my life wouldn't change if it didn't exist, but I also don't mind it. When it comes on after Maybe Love Will Change Your Mind, I sing along. It's fine. All right, we have 2 songs left, and we are almost 3 hours in.
Oh, Lord, shit. Let's get this shit done. No, just like one, followed up by Maybe Love. It's awesome. Can I interject here?
Sure.
I don't really care for the Dylan version, but I've listened to it, obviously. It fits on this album because, it ties into back to everything she's already wrote about, Outside the Rain and ribbons and bows and all that bullshit. And she did change the lyrics for, what was it, Jim? She changed the lyrics, Pearls to Pills.
Yeah.
Which fit with her in that time. Is that correct?
That was an accident. She misheard it. And Bob said, it's pearls. It's pretty much, it's hard to, just splice. It's done.
Yeah, she like,
but Bob was okay with it. Bob was
like
okay.
the age of 17 or something like that.
Oh yeah, yep,
yeah. Happy accidents.
And it ties in with Street Angel to wrap it back all up, which this may have been the last song, but it wasn't. She fell down the stairs, a broken rag doll, and I was hungry, and it was your world.
Okay.
But she claims her strength back in the final chorus where she turns it back around.
She puts in the first
she says, she claims her strength back and says, I fake it like a woman. I don't know the exact words.
Right.
I make love just like a woman. She turns it back around and claims her strength where she was giving it up. The whole latter part of this album, which like The Other Side of the Mirror, the whole latter part of the album is like the killer for me. It's like that's the part of the album right there where she ties everything in at the end. And that will be continued with Kick It and Jane. And I don't even want to talk about all this shit. But
I do feel like
it ties it all in, to complete something that she was thinking in her mind at that time.
I do like the Stevie Nicks version much better than the Bob Dylan version.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, much better. All right.
Yes.
So I have 2 more songs to do, then a couple bonus tracks. Let me say Kick It. I freaking love this song. I've always loved this song. I I think that is the meaning of love, and I'm still trying to kick it in 2021. I think this is one of the. There were a lot of songs on this album that were demos that she brought back. Let's count them. Greta was old. Dockland, someone else wrote.
Yeah.
Listen to the Rain she had written for Time Space. Destiny was from the 80s, maybe even the 70s.
70s.
Unconditional Love and maybe Love were written by someone else. Love is Like a River was a Rock Little demo, and Rose Garden was from the 60s. So I feel like Kick It was one of the few songs, along with Street Angel and Blue Denim, that she wrote for this album. And I think it's awesome. I love this song. How do y'all feel? Roland.
I don't love the album. I don't love the album, but I love this song. I think it's so, the music and the lyrics, it's the big statement on this record. And she brings back a bit of the mysticism where she says, well, I'm waited for in Egypt, that part. So, that's kind of like far away, exotic places and the mystic thing. So she's brought that back, even though she plagiarized that from Oscar Wilde.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's from a story called The Happy Prince. There's a cartoon made of the Happy Prince, and this little sparrow that says, I have to go to Egypt because otherwise the winter's coming. So, yeah. But it's from Oscar Wilde.
I like it more. That makes me like it more. Yeah, I wasn't fond of that lyric.
I love the All Day, All Night, It's Your World.
Oh, yeah, Liam.
Love that part. Ronnie, your hand is
up. And the I'm lonely
yes.
part. That's so nice. That's so nicely expressed.
Yeah. Ronnie, was your hand up?
No, Jeremy, I do this often.
Okay,
I do this. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
I'll do this now.
I just don't want to miss you if your hand was up.
No, thank you, sir.
All right. What does everyone else think of Kicking It? Jim.
Yes, this was an interesting thing. I was watching Sunday Night Football, and they came back from commercial, and they played that intro, and they on the television screen it was that Arizona sunset, and the visual so perfectly. And I said, "Oh, this is a cool music to go with. It's a westerny, a bit tinged sunset, burnt sound to it." And then I said, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And I didn't know who it was. I didn't recall who it was until that's Stevie.
Wow,
that's Stevie. That's a Stevie song from Street Angel. What is it? Oh, it's Kick It. And like that. It was funny that you saw something out of way so far out of context,
right?
And then it was used right. It was used right. That music was used right. And there's someone in NBC is a closet Stevie nut because they'll have Cardinal games. That's Arizona Cardinal games, home games, and he will play. He play Stop Dragon. Right the intro to it, and there's someone there in the production in NBC on Sunday Night Football that is a Stevie nut, and that's a real deep track, and it worked at that moment, and it worked for me. It was incredible. It was incredible that they used it right, and it was just cool. It was right, and the scene was right for just a football game that is long gone and forgotten what the score was. So
that's awesome.
That was really cool. I think that Kick It line is pretty. A lot of it's about drug addiction, I think. But it's about, and she's kind of, and like I've said, this is about being jaded about love too, having bad relationships and stuff. So that's my take on it. Good artwork.
It's about freedom.
Yeah.
All right. What about Alicia and Nathan down there?
Well, it's not one of my all-time favorites off of this record. I mean, it works, and I can listen to it, and it's good. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but to me, this is one of the weaker songs off the album, for me personally. So.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you.
Nathan?
I'm with you.
Yep.
What do you think of this one?
Which one are we on?
Kick It.
I think it's great. Specific comments about Kick It. I guess I'd be curious to know what the crowd thinks of the geographic name dropping. What do y'all think about her talking about being waited for in Egypt? And good, bad?
This is probably in my top 3 of the album: Blue Denim, Maybe Love, and Kick It.
Yeah,
I like the Egypt. Take me there, Stevie.
I like it.
What?
I love the bridge where, you know, so what is this when you can? What is this? What you can? That's a great bridge. And that line, I would really rather die than make you stop. That's very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the throes of drug addiction or love addiction or whatever she was going through.
All right. Any other thoughts on Kick It before we move on?
I mean, I love the song. I think it's an awesome rocker. I think it's an awesome end song compared to Blue Denim. You know, she opened up with I think it's a very angry song. Mm-hmm. And then this is a very remorseful, like, okay, we're going to go our separate ways. You're either going to come my way or we're going to kick it.
Yeah.
And that probably should have ended the album, but it didn't.
It should have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just, you know, I like it as a track. I love, of course, I think Mike Campbell.
Yeah.
Of course, Mike Campbell wrote it.
Right.
There's really no other thoughts there. You know, she wrote the lyrics, so that's what she was feeling in the moment. So we're either going to go forward as a couple or I'm kicking your ass to the ground or whatever. Get out. You know.
I remember when I bought this album, I kind of would, you know, I loved Maybe Love Will Change Your Mind. Then just like a woman, I kind of like, let's do it. But this is one of those songs, like for some reason I never made it to the song. And then I found it and I just fell in love with it. And then this became the song I went to. Because this song, it didn't jump out at me at first. But then once I realized, like so many times in my life, I would say I have a mild love addiction. And damn if I can't kick it. So like this song just, it's one of those songs that hit you at a time and space where, you know, I'm like, oh.
Jane, what was this again?
All right, so we're done talking about Street Angel. We don't even need to move on to that last thing at the end. I'll see you guys next month when we.
We're almost.
No, we ain't done.
I always stopped after Kick It. Like I listened to Jane a couple times. I think that There's Angels Here on Earth has a decent hook. That's the only good thing I have to say about the song. I'm just gonna put my camera off.
Well, you still have Jeremy. You still have 3 other songs.
I'll let you guys. I'm gonna turn my.
There's
microphone
like Inspiration.
Yeah, I know.
And God's Garden, and what's the other one?
1,000 Days or something.
So what do y'all feel about
this song gets a lot of flack because of the chimpanzee line.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Oh.
I was always wondering if she didn't use chimpanzee, like if she used a better or different set of words, will it be, you know, less hated?
A little bit.
Less disliked?
Story.
I'm going to go with yes on that. Do you think it should get more credit than it does, Roland, as its current form?
Jeremy.
You know, it's kind of a boring, one of her boring slow songs. You know, dun, 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 dun.
I think it's hypnotic.
Like, if you were my love. If you were my love. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, can we pause for 1 second, you all? Can we talk about the Street Angel version of If You Were My Love with the tango beat? That's the worst thing ever.
I listened to that, and you liked it earlier. You liked it.
I love it. That's one of those things.
Caribbean beat or whatever, or Hawaiian beat. You liked it earlier.
Bad that I love
That's
it.
my favorite version of it.
Why do you love that? with the background singer is like, ooh, like doing the. It's so bad, but I love it. What?
The whole song, the whole
best version.
Everything is bad.
Of that song, yeah.
Can you see Stevie like coming in like a Hawaiian outfit?
With Sharon?
With Sharon?
In Maui or
the Blue Max.
wherever she found her.
The Blue Max.
Yes.
I always picture Stevie in Pee-wee's Playhouse. I don't know if you've seen the opening credits to that, the music.
That was Cyndi Lauper that did the music, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm so sorry I changed the topic from Jane. I can't help myself. Continue, you guys.
No, you know,
I'm
sir.
gonna turn around. I'm gonna turn around on the
turn around. You need to be present for this, sir.
Look at this is how I feel about Jane.
I don't want to kiss your bamboo ass. Turn around.
There Are Angels Here on Earth hook is really nice. I think that's a nice hook. That's all I've got to say.
Her heart's in the right place. That's all that can say.
Yeah.
That's it.
Alicia.
That's what I got to say. Part of what I got to say.
What'd you say? Cut out.
We'll do Alicia then Jim.
Right place.
Hey.
To me, when I listened to this song over the last month, her talking about Jane wasn't bad if she just did one verse of it. And I think the chorus is fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best part of it. If she could have added maybe somebody else for verse 2 that she really was looking up to and kind of said, angels, plural, these are angels here, on earth.
Oh, damn. That would have been nice.
And
like
then,
Betty White.
And then kind of done, such a little, maybe a third person for the last verse, or she could have wrapped it up and pulled more from that chorus to really build up the song.
Right.
I think it could have had potential. This is one of those songs where she stuck with one person, and when she did that, it sounds kind of awkward because, yes, now you've got cages and chimpanzees, and the words just don't. So, yeah, this is one of those songs where I wish Buckingham could have pulled in contrast, because she needs that with some of her material. She needs that feedback or give and take. And of course, Stevie has gotten to the point where she won't have any of that. So this is one of those songs. I think she needed somebody to tell her, go back and work on it.
Wait, can you elaborate on that last part? Like, she should have pulled it all in, and if she couldn't, then replace it with a different song. Is that what you meant, Alicia? Because that's what I was thinking in my mind.
Well, it kind of pull it all together. To me, one of Stevie's Achilles' heels as a songwriter is she can write 18 stanzas or 18 verses, and she needs somebody to go in and say, verse 1, verse 5, verse whatever, these are the best, and not have Sarah that's 15 minutes long. Let's fix it 4 minutes. Problem is Stevie doesn't like that. She doesn't like that criticism.
Yeah.
Buckingham was that person who typically said, okay, Stevie, this is good, I don't like this, and I think that was always hard for her. But she needs that. And this is one of those songs where she needed somebody to push her back and say, you need to do this.
Totally agree.
Because that chorus is killer. Like, it's a good chorus, like you said, Alicia.
What is it, Steven? Steven tried to interject, but I totally agree with Alicia.
All right, Steven.
I don't remember.
He's like, he said something that he doesn't even remember. It was a second ago.
Jim, did you have some thoughts?
Yes. I was reading about a lot about this today, about how this generated. There was a Jane Goodall benefit, like in '91. It was supposed to be, and I think someone asked Michael Jackson to write a song about her, and Michael drug his feet or something, And then they asked Stevie, and she says, "Oh, okay," because Stevie likes what Jane does. I mean, I like what Jane did.
Oh yeah, you can't argue with that.
Chimpanzees. It reminds me of what I used to do with my cows, because cows are they're like individuals. Some of them are just, they're sweet and they love you, and some of them are just jerks. and I related to that sort of thing. And I think this was rushed on Stevie a little bit, because some of those lyrics are really clunky. That Forgotten Chimpanzee, and I think that brings that album down quite a bit for me. Just some lyrics like that are just a little, unless Stevie hasn't really, if she comes about someday and say, "What's that line about?" If she explains it right, and I say, "Okay,"
that could happen too.
I think that might have been thrown in there to rhyme or something, but it really doesn't rhyme or flow. That line right there just doesn't, it kills the song, and it's not the best song. The sentiment's great. The sentiment about all that is great.
Yeah.
To recognize that primates are not that far from people, and they're being experimented on. That's kind of basically what this is about.
Yeah.
And I think it was rushed, because I read there's this is where this song debuted at a Jane Goodall tribute, or a little get together, a little presentation. And and it reminds me what Cheaper Than Three. I think that was kind of rushed too. It was kind of put upon herself. Yeah, that thing. I like Cheaper Than Three. Free, it's not that bad, but this, rush, just like a rush job. They had to write this for a tribute, and that's probably what came out. And then she ended up putting on a record too. But she might have been like, "What if I don't put this on the record? What would she think?" That kind of, there might have been a little bit of pressure.
It does have a copyright.
What would who say?
Gene.
What Jane? Or
who? I'm sorry, Jeremy, I interrupted you.
They've actually met. I don't know how far along. Stevie and Jane met at one period, so it ain't like Anne Rice where they didn't meet.
The song does have a copyright of 91 and 94, so it does seem like a little bit earlier than some of the other copyrights.
Yeah, it is. It's on paper, but I researched it and found out it was that's what the story behind it. Cool. All right.
Ronnie?
I mean, what would who say? Did Stevie actually meet Jane?
Yeah.
According to Jim, yeah.
Yeah, that's
they met each other.
Yeah.
And it was written in 1991, apparently.
Yeah. They might have changed. They might have changed music or different. Did this and that with it in '94.
They had 3 years to get rid of the chimpanzee before.
Yeah.
Sure, but Gorillas in the Mist was filmed between those years. And it's like, okay, Jane Goodall and Betty White has, she's still alive. God bless her soul. She's still alive. She has this, this interaction with Coco or whoever the gorilla is. Coco passed away before Betty White did. But, it's like, I think, did Betty White endorse this? No. That's all I have to say.
Should we nickname the song Street Angels in the Mist? Okay, Steven.
Street Angels in the Mist. Yes, absolutely.
I just want to say that I really like this song. And I don't mind the chimpanzee lyric at all.
You're joking, aren't you? You're joking with me to see this, correct?
No, I like this song.
I like the song as well.
Well, this is my last episode of Phonogenics. Been fun.
I didn't say love, but I like it.
No, that's cool. Someone's got to love it.
Cool, Steve Warner.
Nathan, have you said how you feel about this song?
What? Which song? Jane? I like the line about look a challenge right between the eyes.
That's
I
nice.
like that line.
Yes,
The rest of it,
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't remember the rest.
It's a Nathan lyric.
That is a Nathan lyric right there. Steven, I love that you like this song.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
I love the guitar in the intro too. I think it's very hypnotic.
I like the song too.
Oh, the ending where it's just her and the girls singing, it doesn't really do it for me either. Like I'm just like, eh.
You don't like to call back to Belladonna?
No, I feel like that's not Belladonna worthy.
Okay.
Just like Seinfeld, not Sponge worthy. This is not.
Oh Lord.
All right, I'm getting tired, but we still have two bonus tracks to cover.
Oh.
These were both on the original lineup of Street Angel. They were written by Glenn Johns' son, correct? Ethan Johns.
Oh.
So the producer wanted Stevie to cover these songs, and they were released as B-sides and on the Japanese edition of the album, which I do have. La la la. Inspiration. I actually like this song.
Inspiration's nice.
I'm not mad at it.
No.
Yeah.
Steven is giving it a big ass thumbs down. No.
Yeah.
You're not inspired.
Just awkward hot mess.
Here's the Street Angel lyric sheet from the Japanese edition. Okay, Ronnie, thumbs down, inspiration. Alicia, thumbs up. Roland, thumbs up. Jeremy's giving it the thumbs up. How about Nathan and Jim?
Oh.
You're in the middle. Nathan, thumbs down.
Jim,
I'm pulling it. That's why.
So you guys don't want to meet at the station?
Jim, which song would you give a thumbs, if I may, which song, Jim, would you give a thumbs down to on this album?
A thumbs down?
Yeah.
Jane's pretty bad for a great topic.
That's the one you're going with. All right. Yeah. Let it be down.
And the best one, there's no super duper here.
Got to make a choice.
Hey, pretty warmed up to Doc in a live version of Dockman's. I've been playing every day for 2 weeks, so it's just a good moment. She's just having fun with the song. Okay. On inspiration, I should have been a little bit more on the demos or the expanded version because I probably played it, but I don't recall it. I like God's Garden though.
If you thought Street Angel was a dirge, you thought Destiny was slow, then we get over to God's Garden.
I like it. Reminds a progression, a funeral in New Orleans, and it's gloomy and there's like horns playing and someone beloved died, you know.
And you feel just as bad listening to this song as that. Captured perfect. It's like,
okay.
I actually love God's Garden. Okay, let's do the thumbs up or thumbs down, all of us, just for fun.
God's Garden, good.
Oh, we're doing inspiration?
No, God's Garden.
Nathan is right here. So that's two.
I like God's
thumbs
Garden
down for me. I'm here. Thumbs down.
It's a better.
All right.
It's a better ending than Jane was in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
You're very bitter, Jeremy. Very bitter.
Jeremy.
But I wonder why these songs went to Japan. I mean, it doesn't
Jeremy.
have a fan base there. Why?
Because they love Stevie there. Keep going, Jim. Keep going.
Because I knew I'd have to pay $40 for it on damn eBay. That's why.
They do this stuff, sports and exports to sell more records to fools like us that want to see the extra track.
Okay, so if you guys had to choose Edge of 17 or God's Garden.
That's tough. That's very tough.
Okay. Alicia, why do you like this song a lot?
God's Garden? I like it because I heard that she wrote this for, what was it, Kim Anderson, her best friend, and the lyrics are so vivid. To me, it sounds like she's talking about a dream. And it really does kind of tie to a certain degree, maybe not the romance, but it's a friendship, it's love of what you're dealing with for this record. It seems to be kind of like a sweet spot or a good memory after all the jadedness, as Jim was saying, through this record. To me, every time I hear this song, I think of, you know, kind of that misty cottage with all the little flowers and everything that they like to, you go into like the decorating stores. That's what I always think. It brings up such a vivid picture in my head, the way it's described and everything. So it's just such a, to me, it's a good song. Yes, it's very, very slow, but I think it does pick up as the song goes on, so it does help some. But I think this should have been the closer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It really was, wasn't it?
On the Japanese edition.
I remember waiting to hear that song. That was the one I was most excited about when we just had the titles. And then it took like 5 or 6 years before I heard it. And then I was like, oh.
The first time I heard this song, I was like, oh my goodness. But then it grew on me. Ronnie.
It never grew. Inspiration, God's Garden, If You Were My Love. Sorry, folks. They never grew on me in any incarnation. I just wanted to say, I don't think Stevie wrote these songs.
No,
I think
Ethan Johns.
You know, I think that I just revisited some of these God's Garden and Inspiration on YouTube, and it was written by somebody else. And Stevie didn't want to record them, but they insisted, by Glenn Johns.
Yeah.
And she recorded them. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think she wrote them.
It was Glenn Johns'
Not to
son.
step on anyone's toes, but you know.
Then he did really good then. He was really good at.
I mean, they're good lyrics. I think that Stevie just delivered them indifferently because she wasn't inspired or Inspiration or any of those others.
She bailed on, she didn't like what Glenn Johns was doing with her music.
Yeah.
And bailed and went another direction.
That's what I read. I mean, I don't know the truth. I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Yeah, he was very authoritative to her and saying this how it is, and that pushed her the wrong way. And I think I was listening to a few takes on that Glenn Johns stuff, and it's really sparse. It's, you know, it's. I think she said she didn't change the vocals on anything that was his. So and there was a lot of work done with beefed up the other songs. So I think right decision.
I'm glad she released the 2 songs, though. I think they're pretty.
God's Garden is fine. When I first heard it, it was like a Napster version that had some, just some little pops in it. It was like little skips. It was a really crummy version. I had that for a long time until I come across a better version.
It's just too slow. Had the production been stronger or better, it might have been improved.
Well, little did we know that 3 years after Street Angels, Steve would be coming back hard and strong with the dance. Like, I never foresaw. When I saw that advertisement for the dance, I was like,
I didn't either.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's my story. I
like it, Jim.
This is good. I was in the dentist chair going through people ready to get drilled or something. and I come across this Fleetwood Mac artist. Like, we're back together, and they're going to tour and all that stuff. I said, wow, dang, we're back. That was good. That was kind of cool.
Well, I just loved Silver Springs as a B-side. And then when they debuted on VH1 as like a new single, and not only that, but like a really good version of it. I was just like,
yeah,
holy crap. Like after Street Angel was such a era.
Baby.
All right, so let's do our final thing where Ronnie, go ahead.
Oh, can I just get a prop, or can I give a props for Stevie Nicks for that? In 98, where she came back, slimmed down with the golden hair, and
yeah,
she came up Silver Springs, VH1 or whatever it was back then, was doing that, and I was at a house party, and I was probably like 24, 25 or whatever, and I was at a house party with my gay friend, and there was people everywhere with all his straight brothers' friends. And like Eric said, she came on, VH1 came on, and I'd do that. And I'm like, fuck you. Sorry for my language, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, no, that's Stevie Nicks. And she was, down to her slim weight, whatever, for the dance. I was like, no, I was very protective. Like, that was my mother. Like, no, that's Stevie Nicks. Because he was trying to.
Territory.
Yeah, he was trying to, like, turn it into derogatory MILF or whatever. I don't know. But I was like, nope. That's Stevie Nicks, and that's when I knew when the dance was back, and that's when I knew when Fleetwood Mac was back. That's all I had to say about that.
All right, Jim.
Stupid story, I know.
Leading up to the dance, she did a few things in '96. There was a thing called the Mix Fest. She did Twisted on that, and a full. That's some real good stuff to look at. And she did some in Florida, and she was wearing this flower dress on the sound checks. That's something to look at. It's pretty cool. That's a very low. I think that was the bottom, but she did lose weight. She was a little lighter in '96 there, and then the next year it all blew up into like.
That's when she started writing the Trouble in Shangri-La songs. Was '96.
She did
yeah.
She did this song by Sheryl Crow called "Somebody Stand by Me."
Oh, yes, Boys on the Side.
Boys on the Side soundtrack.
That's terrific.
Yeah, that's a nice song. It's a good vocal. It's a good vocal. She didn't write it, but it's a good song. And that Florida show, I remember that she did another one in Boston. It was a free show, and she actually did Twisted live.
Yeah,
yes.
And she has her new modern look, the straight hair, trimmed down, good performance, and she was enjoying herself. That was when she was pretty much a nobody again,
right?
And then the dance. I think Stevie did that to just kind of warm up, because I think there was probably talk about getting back together. Yeah. I think warm up shows.
That's back when the internet was a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff.
All right, friends.
Jeremy is getting sleepy. He's falling asleep.
Yes, I'm
gay, so I'm not I'm not following her figure. I just wanted to make that point. I thought it was a funny story. So.
All right, so let's go around the circle. Everyone think of what you rank Street Angel on a scale of 1 to 10. So 10 is masterpiece. 1 is worst thing ever. Let's all ruminate for a moment. All right, I have my number. I'll go last, though. Let's start with Jim on top of my screen.
Yeah, I think it's a 7.8.
Okay, Ronnie?
Missteps. Personally, I like the music more than some of her other outings. I'd like the musically more than even Shangri-La, but it's kind of disjointed. It doesn't fit together as an album. I think there's a lot of pieces and not a unit. But it kind of has a theme, though. It has like a jaded love theme, by accident probably, but it's 7.8.
All right, Ronnie.
Oh, me next? Really? I thought you would have went with Roland, who's next. Jim said 7.8. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I was only going to go with 7.5, and I still think I'm going to go with 7.5 because lyrically, she's right up there. You know, it's like her most raw confessional album, in my opinion. She's right up there. I would have rated The Mirror higher, and I still would. But like lyrically, she's right up there. She's on top of her game. Even though she's not all together, she still knows what she's doing. So 7.5.
All right, Roland.
I give it a 4, and that's on the strength of Kick It and Rose Garden.
Wow. 4?
That's it. 4.
Alicia.
7 or 8. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it, but I like country music, so a lot of the songs fit more in my wheelhouse.
Okay.
I like the fact that there's more guitar to this than the pure synthesizers that she did for the previous 2 records.
Yeah.
I like that it's kind of it's without all the gypsy rock and roll smoke and mirrors. I mean, you got 1 or 2 notes, Street Angel, the title track, but this is a pretty plain spoken record for her.
In both lyric and production.
Yes. So it makes it different. It makes it something I've been able to swallow easier, and I can understand some of her other albums, like Other Side of the Mirror. It's almost like a puzzle. I need a notebook while I'm listening to connect all the symbolism and everything. This one doesn't quite have that.
Mysticism.
All right, Steven.
I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to give it an 8. I think there's a lot of solid stuff on here. I like it, and mostly because it still sounds fresh today, and I can listen.
This album has aged really well.
Yeah, like you can mix it with some of the more recent songs, or you have trouble doing that if you go back and mix in rock a little. Yeah. But it, like some critics said way back when, it didn't have any A+ songs on it, but it didn't have any Fs either. It was just kind of a high average. And that's how I looked at this album. And I love it for personal reasons too. And how about you?
I'm going to go with Alicia and Steven and also give the album an 8. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but it's very, very beloved by me. And when I say anything negative about the album, even Jane, it's with love. Like, you know, I'll take the Forgotten Chimpanzee with me.
And it rhymes with Jeremy.
And I do love God's Garden and Inspiration too. So, all right, we just talked about Street Angel for 3.5 hours.
Wow.
How can you cut that down? You can't really.
I'm not. Yeah, someone's like, "Oh, sweet." I'm like, I like that. It's just the unedited discussion. If someone wants to watch it, they can. If they don't, they don't have to. But we're just people that love Stevie Nicks talking about Stevie Nicks. There's no right or wrong. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you, Jeremy, for inviting me to this panel.
Yes.
I appreciate you all. I appreciate all of you.
Yes.
And thank you.
This has been so much fun. I will see you all in June, where we are going to run through the grass, run over the stones, honey.
I love that record.
Back to the sea.
Back to the sea.
Honey.
The second Tuesday of the month, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I just want you to know how much I appreciate y'all. I feel lucky to be in this universe and find people that can freaking sit with me and talk about Street Angel for 3.5 damn hours. It's the best gift anyone could have ever given me. So I will see you all in June.
Love it.
All right.
Thank you.
Till next time.
Bye.
Good night, folks.